that you came with your writing materials. If you're not using your notepad, we believe that you're going to be using your phones, your tabs, to note points that can transform you. And we want you to be expectant, because this is not just a meeting. This is a meeting that will transform you indeed. So please be open to what will be taught, and then be open to the people around you, because you can never tell what the next person beside you can be in your life or in your business. So don't be, how do I put it now? Don't just be all by yourself. Relate. Be friendly to the person beside you. There's going to be a time to network properly. I cannot know you if you don't tell me about yourself. So be open-minded and be expectant, and I'm sure we're going to have a great time today. So without further ado, I'm going to be inviting our HOM to take it off from here.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, so yes, Bro Sam has welcomed, everybody, but I would like to say a big thank you again to our parents in the Lord. Yes, please celebrate them. If it was not, if they did not allow this, it would not happen. So first things first, we have to say thank you to them, not just for making it happen, but for being genuine parents unto us. All right, I would also like to welcome our guests. Thank you very much for making out time, because I know they are very busy, and it took a lot of time to actually get them together, but thank God they are here. And to welcome everybody again, thank you for coming, thank you for taking out time. Yes, we understand it's a program for us, but if we decide we would rather be somewhere else, we would have been talking to empty seats. So thank you very much for making it down here. Okay, so why the Business Summit? I just want to say a few things. Okay, so this is up. All right. So, we all know the story of Nigeria. There has been, if you've not been listening to the news, I'm sure somebody somewhere will have heard something that happened in the past week, or the realities that people have actually experienced or that they're experiencing right now. A lot of uncertainties, a lot of bad news, in quotes. I don't listen to the news. I probably get to pick things up maybe on a WhatsApp group or something somewhere. But it's obvious that the things, that are happening around, they're not encouraging if you look at the whole situation. One note is almost equal to a bundle of, one note of the US dollar is almost equal to, a big bundle of our money, or in a lot of our notes. As at this morning, I'm hearing 600, maybe to probably go to 605, yeah? Okay, the banker here is already updating me. You look at that, you're running business and you're wondering what's going on. How many times do I have to increase prices? Insecurity, definitely. Power. We live in Ibadan. We know what has happened in the past 1 to 2 weeks. We spent probably 2,000-3,000 naira on fuel on a daily basis, and that's a whole lot. If you're running a business, that's like a no-no. The same thing with the prices, the cost of goods. Everything has actually probably tripled in some instances. It's doubled in some instances. And so it's really a very trying time to live in Nigeria, to actually do business here. Yeah, next slide, please. Okay. And the whole gist is that everybody wants to japa. Right? I'm sure you probably know 1 or 2 people in your area or in your church or at work that has jackpot, if I can use that English, right? That's the trend. And it's so much, or the noise is actually so much that those of us in Nigeria, it looks like we don't know what we are doing. Eh? Like, what are you still doing in this country? We have no jackpot too, right? And I'm sure there are people seated here, if you ask them now, that are already applying for visas, right? Okay? So, what is the fact and what is the truth? Yeah, the fact is that, yes, people are leaving, right? If you look at the numbers in reality, right? Yes, we are around, okay? The number of people in Nigeria, estimated population is around 200 million, right? If you take, so that's, the statistics for 2022 says about 0.028 persons per 1,000 people have actually emigrated or left Nigeria. Yes, this is official numbers. It might be slightly worse, but how bad can it really be? To translate that in plain English, it's 7.1 million of 200 million. So we still have about over 190 million people in Nigeria. What does that mean? Even if 50% of that number still decides to travel, that is still bigger than the entire population of West Africa. So it means that there are people here. The people here eat, they live, they wear clothes, they go out, they have needs that need to be met, okay? Who's going to meet that need? The people that are doing businesses. So as a matter of fact, it's never been this good to actually do business. Those of us that earn salaries, your salary is fixed. It is not going anywhere, except probably if you work in a company where they do a yearly bonus or a yearly increment that is tied to your performance and all sorts. But if you do business, your salary is not fixed. You have every chance and opportunity to actually expand, okay? So we need to actually think about it. The other part is that inflation, as we say it, is now a global phenomenon. It's no longer a Nigerian thing. It is across the world, all right? The inflation rates is actually rising everywhere across the world. And so it will come to a point, I said jokingly, that there will be nowhere else to run to. Like it happened during COVID, that we were all in our different countries and there was nowhere else to run to, okay? We are getting there one way or the other. Now, next slide, please. So, the outlook, this was lifted from some reports from LBS and a number of sources. The outlook is that, look, there are indicators that are showing that the market is actually very funny. It's not the usual market. I'm not a finance person, but the indices show that, there are some growth in the economy and business, actually, which means that it is not that bad. It's not as bad as the news is saying it. It is bad, but it is not as bad as they're saying it. People are making money. People are getting richer. There's an influx of the Asians into the market. Why? Because they see opportunities. We are leaving, they are seeing opportunities. I know companies right now that are expanding. A lot of companies actually, I don't know if you've been to, if you've driven on Lagos-Ibadan Express recently, look to your left, look to your right around Chagamo. All the plots, all the lands there have been bought. They are building factories. Who are those factories for? They're for us. It means that somebody somewhere is thinking and not jackpying, all right? I'm not saying there's nothing wrong or there's anything wrong with traveling. It is fantastic because you never know, even me myself, I might travel next year, all right? Okay? Now, the fact is that, there were over 750 startups that raised 1.7 billion USD in Nigeria alone in 2021. And that number is going to get higher in 2022. There's something about here that we need to actually dig into, okay? Not to waste our time, the next slide, which is probably my final slide. Yes. Okay, there are quite a number of verses. So, fine, this is not service, but we need to actually use the manual to talk about our lives, okay? If you remember the story of Isaac, where he actually sowed and reaped when there was famine in the land. The funny thing is, if you read the story, or if you go back to read the story, he actually dug wells, though. He kept digging and kept digging. It was taking over. He would dig this one, it would get taken over. He would dig another one, then there will be trouble or controversy over it. It means that, yes, the business terrain is not easy. If anybody says it's easy, it is not. But if you have the direction and the leading and the confirmation from God on where to take it, you will prosper. And that's very important. We should hold that in our hearts, okay? The second verse, yes, so there's also this discussion with Uncle Solomon, right? And he says, look, if you look at the wind and then you say, this country is messed up, I'm traveling, there's nothing going on. Or, no, let me just do what I have to do, and that's it. And I will not, make moves. Let me just manage what I have. It's very clear. If you wait until the wind and the weather are just right, you will never plant anything and never harvest anything because it is garbage in, it is input and output. It is what you put in that you get out. So if you are like the guy who was given 1 talent and he says, let me go bury it, right? This guy is very wicked. Nigeria is not a very nice place, so I don't want to do business. It is what you put in that you get. Simple, end of story. And then the last Bible verse, okay? And this is very profound for me because I woke up with this song, the Isaiah song by Mavericks, right? And it says, sing, sing, O barren land. Water is coming to the thirsty. Though you are empty, I am your well. Draw from me, I will provide. It's a word for someone to say, look, whatever the situation is, draw from God. He's our strength. We should go back to him, and he will lead us through. All right? So that I do not take much of our time, I would like to hand over to Bro Sam so that we can get into the business summit. Thank you very much. You're welcome once again.
All right, thank you so much, sir. I hope we got a thing or two from what he has said. He has laid a very good foundation for us, and so we know that we can build on from here. All right, without wasting our time, please let me ask your neighbor, are you set? Can we take this journey? Can we fly now? Ask your neighbor now. All right, to take us further, we're going to be inviting the first speaker, who is going to be sharing with us. And I'm sure that you are ready to learn. Okay, she's going to be talking to us, but I want to read her profile before we go on. Her name is Mrs. Aderonke Olubanjo. She studied mass communication and journalism and has been into fashion designing for 23 years now, but started DGV Styles 17 years ago. She is the principal instructor of the leading fashion college in Oyo State, Ibadan City Fashion College, creative director of DGV Styles. DGV Styles is a brand which has been represented on different major international runways. She is a member of the World Creative Council in United Kingdom. She is also certified as Entrepreneurship Development Institute Director on the business funding schemes for existing and startup entrepreneurs by the Central Bank of Nigeria. She's a teacher, speaker, and trainer, and she's going to be teaching us how to run a profitable business in a challenging economy for SMEs. So can we, with a clapping ovation, welcome Mrs. Aderonke Olubanjo. Welcome, ma'am.
Please, you may take our seat. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, sir. Good morning. Yeah, I sound like me here. Good morning, and it's a great pleasure to be here. Yes, I'm on a hot seat or a hot floor, because when you're standing before your Father in the Lord, you know this is a task that, I'll first of all like to thank our pastor, Pastor Femi and Pastor Tolu. Thank you for being there all the time. I can't say a lot. I have a lot to say, but I keep it for someday else. They both are a great part of my business when I started. He knows the story. I don't want to go into that from the beginning, where I started from. If we try to create the space, it's not more than, when you spread your hands, my office is finished. But here we are today, trained over 5,000 students, still counting, and thank God for everything. To the HR team, I don't know who gave you that profile. I didn't send profile. We were reading and I was thinking, shouldn't I meet them they read about? Wow, I'm a big girl. Let me shine small. It's good to be here. I'm ready to just, how many minutes do I have? Okay, I've seen the timer. I'll try to catch up because I'm a talker. Some of my students are here. Thank you for coming. And Pastor Bro Faj, this? Okay, yeah, that's cool. Thank you, sir. When I got this topic, and the first time the lady, the sister being follow, I don't know where she, I know she's somewhere in the crowd. Sorry, I'm a fast speaker. Are we hearing me? Please, if I'm running, just do like this. Do like this. I'll slow down. They're not supposed to give birth to me in Nigeria, let me say that. Maybe. I say because I don't know, I just speak like something is in my mouth. But when I got the first invite, I said, church, I run away from church, because I'm that kind of member that once grace is shared, I'm gone. But when God wants to arrest you, God has a way of arresting you. Like, I'm glad I can say that I started with nothing. I can see my sister in the building. Okay. I started with 0. So when people ask me questions and they say, how do you start a business? I'll tell them, sometimes you don't need someone to help you. You just have to get up and help yourself. Like if you read Joyce Meyer's book that said, Me and My Big Mouth, your help is right under your nose sometimes, but sometimes you don't even know how to use it. So let's just go brief, sharp into what we are trying to say. They said running a profitable business in a challenging economy. When I saw it, I said, this is one big unbalanced equation. Profitable, challenging. Challenge don't date. When we started, the only thing is we say, everybody, our fathers will say, it was not this bad in our time. Me, I will say, I'll tell my kids, it wasn't this bad in our time. One day, my son said, when the days were good. I said, The Oluwi days were these days was good. How old are you that you're saying some days were? He said, Mommy, but the days were good. I said, when my son can say the days were good. But the smart ones are solving these puzzles and they're making millions out of it. I was talking to my students when I traveled one time and I came back, and I was telling them that you say there is no money. There is money, people are making the money. The only thing sometimes is when you're a business owner, the things that fail us are right in our hands. And one of it is not even in my line now, is quality of what we are delivering. How many of you are delivering what will give you the millions? You're just working on, let me work and let me be relevant. What you're doing, can it be sold elsewhere? There's a part of I'm just be going up and down. When I'm lost, Tony, I know you are there. Just catch me and bring me back. I'm always flying around when I'm talking. The challenges in our economy did not start today. It's been there. In the days of when I started my business, then I'll be complaining, dollar is rising. Dollar is not even rising, dollar is soaring. And a mentor told me recently, he said the best thing you can do for yourself is earn in foreign currency if there is a way you can, or up your game. Because when you up your game, I did a business some times ago, and they paid me in pounds. I said, Forex, sweet. When you are making, I wanted to sell a shirt for, I think 4.5, I'm not sure. And someone just sent me a message, how much do you want to sell one? I said, 30 pounds. Can I have 2? I said, 30 pounds times 750. 4.5. 30 pounds times 750. Ronke, borrow yourself brain. Tell that person it's sold out. So sell to the other person. But how did I get there? I didn't get there by just getting up and like the youth of these days, microwave generation. I want to be like you in 3 days. Who told you can be like me in 3 months? I posted something yesterday and a friend saw it and he said, Ronke, the boss lady. I said, it's the truth. I didn't get here by crawling. I didn't get here in a day. You can't be like me in 1 year. My sleep, my blood, my sweat are what I'm seeing today. But this generation doesn't want to work. They want to wake up and blow. That's the slang. You will not, if you blow anyhow, you blow into the flow, into the river. You just blow and scatter, nobody will be able to pick your pieces. But get yourself together from the beginning. Amen. I can say amen, Abi, we are in church. You see, time changes whether you want it or not, but you are the one that you're going to adapt with the time and find a way to fit in. Because the business world has changed. When we started sewing, it's not how sewing is now. I'm in the fashion business. How many of us are in the fashion business here? Okay, I have my family members here. Praise the Lord. If you don't tune in with what is happening, your business will keep on crawling and start suffering and start having shock up and down. How much of the relevant things that are in now do you know? So that by the time they are saying people are not making money, when my brother quoted Genesis 26, I wanted to say that was the first verse that came to my head when the topic came that time about Isaac, but I'm still going to come there. When you say economy is bad, it is the current president. The next president will come and things will still happen. So it's your choice, like we always say in church, my economy is not controlled by Nigeria. My economy is controlled by God, but God will not come down and put your hands to work. That's one thing I've learned about this God we serve. I tell people, no matter how much we scalabush on this floor, if I put a seed inside, it cannot grow. But if I go outside there on the soil, I don't have to even scalabush. Before you rabataye, you put something there, you go to bed, it grows. It just may not grow well if the soil is not good. But some of us are on the hard ground and planting. And you are saying, I want to have money, but you are doing a wrong business. Are you caught out for the business you're doing? Because personally, I've met some business owners now, look at them. Are you sure you're meant to be doing this or something else? Like when I have students, please, am I too fast? Are we together? Okay, if I have students and I will tell them, I say, maybe they call it insight or sixth sense or gifts of the spirit. I'll tell them, I say, you are in this business, but I don't think you are going to sow to make it. You have this eye for details, you have aesthetics, go into selling of fabrics, go into selling of accessories. Those who listen are making the money today. And those who are adamant, I want to be like auntie, don't be like me. I didn't even plan to have a fashion school when I started. Because the one thing I told myself was I'd never be a teacher. My mom was a retired teacher, or she is a retired teacher. I said, I don't want to teach. Because holding chalk was a prayer I prayed against. If you know how much they owe teacher salary, you don't want to teach. But when God will capture me and I started teaching, but I'm making money in teaching. So people will just say to me, I want to be like me. You don't be like me. Leave me with my thing. Be like what God wants you to be. The time I opened, and one of my family pastors, one elderly man, he came in. The man is actually an illiterate. I started my first office in Durovans. He's now old. Some of you may not know Durovans Hotel again. The man came in to greet us and he said, I saw a school. In my head, I said, Daddy Kawe, number one, you're not learned. How come you saw a school written on this small shop that cannot just contain even me and my sewing machine? Nobody can sit down. Pastor Femi knows and Pastor Lou knows the shop there. But I heard and I listened. So one thing is God factor must never be out. If you follow that path, trust me, it is sweet. I'm going to go back to Genesis 26 where he said, where we saw earlier. You see, Isaac's prosperity came as a result of hard work, even though he had enough inheritance to rely on. Do you know what it means to be the son of Abraham? Hi. If you can read about Abraham. Abraham, Kai. How can I walk, Mama? Walk again. Abraham lands the blessings of Abraham that we all still praying for. But he worked. He dug wells, it was stopped. He dug another. Taking me to when I went to zero. I was in Durovans Hotel again. That time, everything went blank out. I lost every single money. My students have heard these stories over and over. Many people did not know, my family members, I lost every kobo. And I looked up, I said, how do I start again? But what kept me up was, Ronke, you started with zero. So if you could start with zero, you're going to go back. So when I read Isaac dug, and they stopped, and he dug again. I said, if Isaac will dig again and get water, I will dig again and get water. How many of us today, if you lose everything, can you start again? That's the question. And those of us, entitlement mentality, my uncle has not settled me. Who told you your uncle has the right to give you money to start that business? No one. You know, the spirit of entitlement is so strong in some people's life that if not because my father is not rich. Who told you? If your father is rich, Inko, and doesn't give you the money, it's his money. He worked for it. It's not your money. So why are you expecting someone to, they will say, my uncle has money. I want him to bless me so that I can start my business. He does not have a right to bless you. What is in your hands, start with it. When I learned fashion designing then and I had to start, and my mom said, there's no money to buy the machine. I had to go and work. I bought my first sewing machine. And I can say it anywhere in the world. That one single sewing machine gave birth to 100. Till date, it's still birthing more. That machine is in my office. My uncle in UK said, you don't get that machine, I'm at Besi Museum in the UK. We will tell the world that this machine, you have used it for too long. It has now become a memory to be stored, something to be studied. So when you say 0, 0, 0, 0 to hero is not, I don't know, maybe I've worked with a lot of people and they will say, there is nothing God cannot do. I will say, yeah, I know there's nothing God cannot do, but God will not put your hands and bring you up like that and say, bah, take. Because for some of us, our mind is still the issue. It's not even the Nigeria. If people are making millions today, it is you. Your mind is still wired to, if not that the economy is bad, that is why my business is falling. And those who are making money, yes, there are audio money, especially that street of Instagram. People are just saying, Gbogbo sold out, Connie sold out too. Some are the pepper them sold out. But the real sellouts are there. I was telling my students that I came back and if somebody was discussing with me, if you are in the fashion industry here, listen to this. She said she wants to enlarge her industry. She got a contact, and the person said they make a cloth for 10 pounds. And can she supply 1,000 clothes per day? You see, it sounds like so possible, my sister, my brother. If you go to some stores outside the country, people are walking in and buying. That means they sell 1,000 clothes every day. And she's meant to supply 1,000 clothes. Punch your phone. 10 pounds times 1,000 one day. 10,000 pounds, if I'm right. Yeah, into Naira. Let's do that. Can that into Naira be a day? We had about 200 and something million, if I remember telling Abby. in class. And I said, let this person employ 100 workers. Let her employ whatsoever people, no matter what she pays. At the end of the day, we discovered that this lady was still going to have a profit of about 170 million in a month after buying everything. And she's a Nigerian like you and I. But what took her there? The quality of what she's doing. You see, our problem is we are dealing with local people, and we think, my business, Shebi is just Mommy Shade that will come and buy, and she will not complain. She will not complain, but the person that is studying you from afar will get to you one day, and they will look at the quality of what you have, and they'll say, oh, sorry, it's just fine outside, it's not fine inside. Like I had a customer one time, when you give that woman a clothes, the first thing she will do, she will turn it inside out. The thing used to, she will turn it inside out. She will say, Ronke, she has to roll her R. Rubbish, Laurent. And when Betty low now, why are you behaving like this? She will sorrow baori me. But all those words, I turned them into seeds and I started planting them, watering them, and it took me to where I think I find myself today. Let's go on. The question is not, can I start? The question is not even, how do I start? Sometimes. The question is, can I finish? Because everyone starts a race. If they line us up now, on your mark, set, go, but only one person will become first. How many will now finish well? There'll be first, there'll be second, there'll be third. For those planning to start business anytime soon, you want to leave your work. I was telling a friend, I said, this is the season. When you think of, my mom is here. When you think of NEPA, diesel, and petrol, until you can relate, you start envying salary earners. It's not for the faint-hearted again in Nigeria today, doing business. We spend 5,000 per day in our office, and we spend 10,000 per week to buy lights. That is 25,000 plus 10,000, 35,000 for power supply alone. And you're not jumping into business. You say before you resign now, you had better think twice, thrice, 4 times, or 10 times. Or go in one step while you have your job. If the water, the Yoruba will say, I can console me, can't keep built. So don't even jump in. And if your own is not the business, then step out and do something else. Let's go on. The successful people you're seeing today, DGV Styles is making money. There was a time DGV Styles had nothing. And I mean nothing. I started in my brother's room. He always say, Pastor knows Wale, my younger brother. Wale will say, oh, you can have me royalty. You started in my room. I would say, Iru chairman, and when I started making pounds, and he was collecting the money for me, he said, you paid for it. And part of what I paid was, I keep on hammering this word, the quality of your delivery. Don't just work for working's sake. Don't just do it for the sake of, I'm doing this business because I want to make money. It's not about money, because your customers will get tired of coming for the money. They'll start going for the quality. I read something on Twitter yesterday or today, someone talking about Biggie Cola and Coca-Cola. I don't know if you saw it, sir. And there were some arguments on that. I enjoyed those arguments. The man said, no, Biggie may have the race, may run, but Coca-Cola will stand the ground. Because when the race for what is cheap ends, the race for quality begins. So one day, everybody will rush what is there. But one day, they will say, no, we want the real deal. Let's go for it. So now let's go to some real business talk. Before my time is okay, I'm still on track. Understanding your industry is as a base of the stages of building your business. The industry you are in, fashion, health, beauty, whatever it is, how much of it do you know? One of the major backbone of it is, we call it market research, right? Understanding the market, who do I want to sell to, what the people that need me. And here I said, how much of the market that needs you, not the one you like, do you know? Because what I've seen as an issue sometimes is, you want to sell in Ibadan. And in your mind, as it was in the beginning, is now and never shall be. That's not your business. That is the prayer. And that is God. I said, when I go on some comments on some social media posts, I try to read the comments. And I have this example I always make. I saw this post one day. The guy sells these meats, they share meats. Come and buy a cow for 10 people. And all the comments were saying, can you come to Ilorin? Can you come to Ilorin? And I look at the guy, is this person not reading? Who lock your leg for Ibadan? Some of you, your business is not meant to be in this city. It's a global village, I know, but you are needed in Ede. And God has been telling you in your dreams, in real life, somebody has told you, but this head not allow us go. Sometimes we pray. Pastor said one day, I said, hold your head and pray. Is this old? OCSC prayer, Bauri Emoko Badura. We need to do it sometimes for ourselves. Because we get too spiritual and say, God should bless me. God wants to bless you, but you are just positioned wrongly. And you're doing something you shouldn't do. If your business is meant to be in Iseyin, why are you in Ibadan? Have you thought about it? Where are you needed? Because the market is getting so congested here. Everybody just sitting and struggling for the same customers. And bringing me to what we did in a course recently, the blue ocean and the red ocean. I was asking my students that, blue ocean and red ocean, which one do you want? They said blue ocean. I said, we don't like better thing. Because the blue ocean is calm, it's peaceful, it's there, undiscovered. But people are not there. Everybody's just going for the red, and it's congested, it's cutthroat competition. You know, when we get to competition, they will say, look at your competitors, look at what they are doing. Sometimes leave your competitors alone and find yourself out. I got to a point in my business, I said, Ronke, leave everybody doing this thing out. Face your front. No one runs a race, no matter how fast you are. The moment you swing like this, you have lost balance. Because our look around is too much. Look at Instagram. That one has sold out. Means I want to sell out. Your own yard has weed. Root up the weeds. Clear your ground and make it fertile. It's not about looking at, that one has made that style. Let me go and copy it. In the fashion industry, that's even the wahala now. Copy. Everybody's doing the same thing. And some handkerchief is there. We still buy imported. Aprons are there. You hardly find aprons in stores. People are not even doing it. But so many things are there. But everybody just wants to sew ashwebi, sew corset. Even the one that look like Igbako is still corset. It's the world of corset. Everybody's doing. Look for what will sell. The plus size market, the baby markets. There are so many markets that are there. So my dears will just stop and put in your blue ocean where you sit down, cross your leg, calm down, and make your money. Cool money, coolele like that. Amen. How ready are you for the market God wants to take you to? Because you are in church, so definitely I'll keep on mentioning God here. You know, when I launched into United Kingdom, they will say, thank God for the, how do I put this again? It just skipped my head. They say, we remember the days we prayed for what we have now. When I was praying that God, I want to launch the international market, they would focus on your work. Focus on your work. And I told my students, I would say, I'm a very fast, when I'm sewing, I'm extremely fast. I can sew a shirt, like 10 in a day myself, unassisted. I can sew very fast. And what brought me to that was because when I started this business, I said, I don't want to stay in Nigeria. I want to go to the UK. I want to go to London. I was telling my son this. I said, you look janded. He said, what is jand? I said, generation it's miss. More jand. It's jand. We call it jand. You look janded. I said, I wanted to jand. That, okay, it's Jakba now. But then it was Mofe jand. And I thought about if I should go to London that time and I have tailors. I can't pay. Let me start working on myself. So I started working to the level where I could finish 10 dresses in a day, myself unassisted. But you are the boss, so. You now say your staff are lazy. But are you an example they should follow? Because sometimes you can't even abuse those people. They are looking at you and they are saying, oh, Gatoba is here, washe. But when they see you on your toes, who bond them? My workers know me. You don't want to work, buy wahala. I will do it myself. No problem. I'll do it, but know that you'll pay for what you're not doing today because I, myself, they call me 10 men in one woman's body. No, I'm a one-man mopole. I can walk like a horse. And I was telling them, I said, I can walk like a horse, but I need to walk when my body can work. You know, in Nigeria, no retirement plan. Start planning retirement for yourself. 80, we are still working. God forbid. In Jesus' name, amen. I'm on this floor now. 50, if you want to retire, start planning. It's planning, it's prayer. Now, one of the things I did was finishing up was a task I couldn't give up on. And warming up and accepting people. When the person that linked with the United Kingdom market, I met the person in a store. I went to do SIM card in Glow Office. That was about 8 years ago. And are there singles here? Singles. I'm not single, I'm just asking for singles. Amen. They have this habit. Hello. And you look forward. And so you go miss helper. That's all. Somebody will say, oh, sorry, how can I help you? Did I ask for your help? What's wrong with us? I was just talking to someone. The guy said, he heard me mention tailor. He said, excuse me, what did you just say? I said, oh, I told her I'm a tailor. Oh, you don't look like one. Oh, yes, I don't want to even look like one. Because I want to walk into places and respect they give me. I don't have to beg for it. But I was telling them, I said, they said, you earn respect. There's a part you work for the respect too. Because if you don't earn it, they won't even give it to you when you get there. So the guy said, okay, I have someone that does this and this. Should I connect you? I said, oh, fine, connect to me. And he connected me. And for about 6-7 years, I was sending free clothes to the organization. You see, sometimes this is how we miss out because greed is involved in our business. You just want to swallow everything on your own. I was giving them clothes, gifts to the cancer children, gifts to all this, gifts to them. And the day they will tell me to come and showcase, oh, sorry, for whatever you are showcasing, we are giving you £100 per child. Okay, let's showcase. You know, that's the level where you remember Peter on Transfiguration. Let's build a tent here. This one is sweet. Let's build it. You make £4,000. Let's make a tent here. Tony, don't look at me again. Now your look, I don't like it. Sorry, one of my students is looking at me like, I'm watching you, ma. But it started because, one, I was not too rigid to people, to relationships, to the gifts of humans. Because some of us, the gifts of people, we just take it for granted. You overlook everybody. This guy that limits this person, we don't even talk, really. Maybe it was just an angel on my path, sent to do, like Takwa Labi sang, and that is business. Somebody, I was reading the story of, I can't remember this woman again. That's the billionaire Taylor. Our mommy in the fashion industry, the billionaire woman. What's that woman's name? It just went off. Fadan, the Mrs. Tony, that woman's name. Well, whatever. We remember. She said the link came because she sold for someone and they linked her and they got to know Babangida or Abacha, I can't remember, and she got the oil well. The gift of Alakija, thank you, sir. Gift of people. If she had misbehaved to, can I help you? Do I tell you I need help? The person would have gone. I'm sorry, profitable business is all linking up to this because we are looking, I don't do figures, I don't do theories. Natelo I be. Mass communication, how many years ago? I don't drop that one. I'm just trying to go back to school to read again to at least to refresh my brain. But this is reality because I'm telling you from the point where I came from to where I am today, and I know where I'm still going. Like I say, if God comes down here and tells some people, what do you want? 2 billion is what will come in their head because their thinking has not gone past the level of 2 or 10 million. If me today, they tell you that if you have, I was telling a guy, if you have one man, he was working for us, and I say, can you account here for 10 million? 10 million, what's it for you? Someone that said, today, if they give the person 1 billion now, Motolo Makokora, at the iPhone 13 Plus, once if they have done like this with the person with iPhone, because the mind is not even changed yet. I will always say when I started my business, I said, don't look at Ibadan. Ibadan has something. When they buy pencil Camry, they are like this. Put your eyes. I started looking at people doing businesses elsewhere, Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, outside Nigeria, and put them as my role models. Don't stick to one single role model in business because people are making money. Thank God my mentor, one of my mentors, my mommy is here. She will tell you some stories. People are making lots of money in this Nigeria today. And your mentor will not spoon feed you. Those that I think my mentor come and tell me, someone told me, I want to showcase in UK. I said, okay, you will. I want to go to the program you are going to. I said, okay, yeah, let's go. And the person said, so, should I send the clothes to you? And I told her, I started 8 years ago. So where do you want? You want to just join the queue, fly, join the queue? How? How do we even reason like that in this part of the world? And the person went ahead and said, Auntie doesn't like her helping anybody. I don't like helping anybody, but my own is if you want to be like your mentor, walk your work, till the ground with your farm. Don't look at it like, Pastor Tolu is going somewhere, she will carry me. One of my students told someone and said, if Auntie is traveling down there, she will carry me along. I said, Don't let me say some word. I've told God, help me and my big mouth today in church because I can be big sometime. Now, switch off. I'm trying to wrap up because my time is almost up. Switch off distractions in time of competition. You don't run and look back. I've said that earlier. Nobody said paying attention to your competitions will make you soar in whatever you're doing. And the fact that you think they are bubbling or sensing well doesn't mean they're not better than you. The only thing you're doing is you're not putting enough attention to grow what you have in your hands. You see, those Lagos people especially, they know how to package. And you walk in there and you look at it and be like, they may go better in here now. But because you don't value what you have, or you think in your head, even if you japa, what will you do there? Okay, why do people do over there what they cannot do here? What is that spirit? You go there, you can clean. But if I tell the same guy to clean, he'll tell me, how can I be a cleaner? How can you not be a cleaner? I got the money for my first business by doing registering people, like that SIM card, come and register that was the kind of job I did to buy my first sewing machine. So why do you think you cannot do that? But if you go, you can wash, you can take care of, you can do adult diapers. We don't value what we have most times. The problem is not even Nigeria, the problem is we Nigerians. Because I ask people, why do you steal from Nigerians? And you have a foreign boss and you can't steal from them. What went wrong? Something went wrong somewhere, obviously. As I wrap up, I've thought about understanding your blue ocean. One of my last lines would be fully invest in yourself. The ROI is unimaginable. The returns on investment of you investing in yourself, go to courses, go to seminars. Don't sit down and say, as I've learned and I still study. I do not sleep without reading one day. Whatever you're doing, if you're doing makeup, makeup is changing. If you're doing skincare, skincare is changing. If you're selling, marketing tactics is changing. Develop and look at, you carry phone. All you'll be doing is the trend and be doing your hand like this. There are people that are making money on this phone. I will say always that this generation should be the richest, but someone posted something, said it is the saddest generation with happy pictures. They post everywhere, but they are the poorest and the saddest because they're not making use of what you have. My daughter has one, she makes something, I was telling someone, sorry I had to mention you for him. She does lip care products. She learned it on TikTok, and that was where the idea came from. She just DM'd someone, the person gave her the tips, and she started. Sometimes she'll be researching, I'll be like, Madam Prof, but how many adults have smartphones and are still not smart? Do you have to pray for smartness again? No, because it's there in your hands, but you're not even maximizing it. So before I wrap up, the last line is, like I've said it before, is business cut out for you? Are you faithing it or risking it? If your mind is not in the business, someone said that some business owners should go and learn in an office environment before going back to do business. Because practically, they are not meant for business the way they're handling it. If you have to go learn, pay to get resources. If it's free, they are sharing money today. People will be here. The hall will be full to the brim. But like we always say, everybody cannot be rich. Who will drive you? Everybody cannot be rich. Who will sweep your floor? Everybody cannot be rich. Who will mop your floor? So while others are slowing down, pull yourself and just move on and leave the rest behind. Before I go, I'll say, whosoever you will follow who know road. They will say, Abi, no, follow who will show you road. Don't follow blindly again. The time is changing. The time is, what we are doing now, the level of what we grew up in is not what's in the world today. And get rid of enablers. Enablers are those people that will tell you, you are making money, you are doing well. They make you just sit down and feel comfortable with the little you have. The world has a lot to offer. The business world is big. There are so many things to tap into there. It's up to you to take hold of yourself and, like we said in the beginning, blow. May the Lord help us all. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's check around. What are the things we learned from Mrs. Aderonke? Who wants to go first? We'll pass the mic around, though. This is supposed to be a class. Thank you very much. There's a hand at the back. Okay, so we'll check with 3, 4, 5 persons. Let's see what we've been able to do today.
She said we should have a successful mentor in our career.
Okay, sir, please introduce yourself, what you do.
My name is Oluwaseun Polati.
Okay.
So one of the things she said is we should have a mentor, a successful mentor in our career.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Please, let's appreciate him. Okay, we have people here.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Tosin Shoge. What eats me the most is, can I finish? It's not about just starting. It's about, can I finish it? And also, what's actually another role, the word that got to me was clear your yard, as in weed it out, and get to know what is fertile and not fertile. Thank you.
very much, ma. What do you do, ma? What do you do?
I'm an HR practitioner and I'm also into sales of consumables.
Okay, thank you, ma. Can we have 2 more persons?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, ma.
My name is Antonia Taiwo, Rejoice Place Supermarket. One key thing that struck me was the quality of your delivery, what you are giving out, what's the quality. Thank you.
Thank you too, ma. So we'll take one last person.
My name is Zainab, a student of Ibadan City Fashion College. She said that we should be careful of enablers, people that will not make us grow, that will make us feel comfortable wherever we are. And she said that we should not be spoon-fed. Like when you have opportunity, don't sit down, don't relax and expect people to do things for you. Like you should maximize every opportunity you have without being spoon-fed. And she said you can have multiple mentors, people who are successful in whatever they are doing.
Thank you very much. Please, let's give her a hand of applause. I don't know if you've been able to reach out to the person to your left or to your right. You know, just find out what they are doing. You don't know who might be sitting beside you. Just for the next 15 seconds. I'm going to ask to find out who you met. Looks like we're having fun. All right. All right. How many photographers do we have in the house this afternoon? Photographers? No photographer? Wow. How many fashion designers do we have in the house? Okay. How many bakers do we have in the house? Okay. Wow. All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Aderonke. God bless you, ma. Praise God. Our next speaker introduction will continue after now. Our next speaker is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer at Foodco Nigeria Limited. He holds a Bachelor's of Science in Electrical Engineering from Purdue University, Indiana, and a Master of Business Administration from Kellogg School of Management, Northwestern University, Chicago, Illinois. He is an experienced strategist and an operating leader with broad expertise in operations, improvement, and technology leadership, working in the US, South Africa, and Nigeria. What's special about this speaker? He is a proof that you can build a profitable, multi-generational business in the Nigerian economy. Here to share with us his story, how you can build a profitable business in a challenging economy. Please help me make welcome Mr. Adeson Basharu.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Please sit. All right. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to you all for the invitation to be with you today. Thank you to Pastor Femi and Pastor Tolu. It's an honor to be here in your presence today. All right, before we get started, I don't know about you, but after I've been sitting for a while, I get a bit tight. So let's get up and get a bit loose. You know, there you go. You can do the side-to-side shuffle first. All right, good. And then let's do a shoulder wiggle. That's it. All right, shake it. Come on, it's okay. It's a holy shake, so you're fine. All right, now roll your neck around. All right. Thank you. Good. So no one is confused, right? I'm not a pastor or a teacher. I'm a business person. So I'm going to need your support so we can have a discussion over the next few minutes. Do I have your support? Do I have your support? Good. Are you gonna talk to me? Wonderful. So over the next few moments, I want to share a few stories that I think are helpful to illustrate some concepts that I think are important in running a business. One process point before I get started, I thought I had 40 minutes. I see 30 minutes on there. So if that is a new adjustment, okay, I want to respect the clock. All right, so I'll try to go quickly. There are a few things I think are important that we get to cover today. But before we get into business, I don't know how many of us saw the Will Smith saga from the Oscars a few months ago. You can wave, it's okay. It's not unholy to have seen it. Yeah, I mean, I was shook by the audacity of the event, you know. The guy is sitting in the crowd, he's in the front, he gets up, he calmly walks all the way up, and he didn't give him just a small slap. I mean, he put his whole back into it. I was also grateful that, you know, Chris Rock had the sense and the self-control to be so composed in it. Otherwise, it would have been a bad day for black people. Or two black men fighting on stage at the Oscars. It would have been a long time before we lived it down. The unfortunate thing about it, and if our media people could cue up the video, please, I'll ask for that in a moment, is that whole event overshadowed the whole reason Will Smith was at the Oscars in the first place, which was for his nomination as playing the father of Venus and Serena Williams in the movie King Richard. How many people know Venus or have heard of Venus or Serena Williams? It's okay, you can wave boldly, it's okay. Very good, right? So that's why he was there. And unfortunately for him, he did win Best Oscar after all. And all everybody talked about was the unfortunate incident. But the movie was actually a great movie. My wife mentioned it to me. I had an opportunity to see it, and I watched it, and I quite enjoyed it. And it was interesting it showed really the most unlikely outcome, which was two young, let's call them lower income girls, becoming the predominant players in a sport that frankly is dominated by Caucasians and people who have a lot of money to invest in it. But there are a number of things he did right, and I guess for time we won't talk about all of them. The one thing I wanted to use as an illustration today, can I have the short video, please? And I'll just play a brief video. Okay, just pause it. Let me introduce it before you play. In the video, it's all about tennis, right? It's around how did he teach these young girls to become great stars? So he spent time doing a lot with their mentality, their thinking, and obviously teaching them how to play tennis. This particular scene is them playing tennis in a very, very challenging situation, a very challenging context. And I think that's enough of an introduction. It's a short clip, so, don't drift off. Please, let's have the clip.
So you can't let them hit the ground because they're not going to bounce. If they hit the ground, they're going to skid. That means you take it right out the air. Take it right out the air. Right out the air. There you go. I like that. I like that. Don't let it bounce. Don't let it bounce. Don't let it bounce. Boom. Boom. Oh, now that shot right there gonna make me call the police. That's a shot I got to call the police.
Well, at least ain't nobody gonna have to take no bath tonight.
See what y'all doing out there? Don't sweat it, we good. We got you. Okay, go ahead. I got it. Go ahead. Y'all get in the car. Go ahead. Y'all get in the car.
Great, thank you. So now let's take for a moment this challenging situation for them, right? Playing tennis in the rain is challenging. It's not normal. He was trying to teach them how to do it. Let's take for a moment that take me, and just to help you a bit with the question, I'll ask you. I don't know how to play tennis. I've played it once in my life, but it didn't go very well. Let's imagine you give me, rain clothes, anti-slip shoes. You give me a tennis racket that's as big as a basket of tomatoes, very big head, and you put me up against these young girls that have been trained on how to play tennis, but they've never played in the rain. Who do you think is going to win? The girls or me? The girls, right? Why the girls? Exactly. They've been trained. They know how to play tennis. For me, I think business is the same thing. And if you allow me to just push our thinking a little bit today, my premise and what I'll spend the next few moments on is I don't think we should worry first around doing business in the challenging economy. We should worry first about, do we know how to do business at all? And are we trained and ready to be competent and successful business people? Because if you are not, right, whether the economy is a little challenging, very challenging, it doesn't matter, you're going to be in trouble. Everyone who knows Warren Buffett? Good. All right. Warren Buffett said a statement that says, only when the tide goes out, and maybe I should explain a bit first. So the tide is about the ocean, right? When the tide is in, the water level goes up. When the tide is out, the water level goes down. So he said a statement that said, only when the tide goes out do you discover who's been swimming naked. Only when the tide goes out do you discover who has been swimming naked. And all he's trying to say is when the times are good, even people who maybe are not particularly good at doing business, are not well structured, they might look okay. But once things get a bit rough, then you really see who is prepared or who is not. So I'll spend the next few moments talking about, I think, the two elements, if you let me call it that, of what I think it takes to run a successful business. Anybody interested in hearing about that? All right. So for me, I think it boils down to two things. One is character, and I would say the second is the fundamentals of running a business. First, character. Second, fundamentals of running a business. I'll start out with some comments on character. To do that, I'll start with a story. Anybody want to hear a story? All right. It's a simple story, but I think it's an interesting story. So fast forward, or reverse, as we say in Nigeria, reverse back about exactly. About four years or so, we were expanding the business, trying to grow FoodCo, but we knew we needed to improve our experience. So one of the things that was important for customers is the experience and the ambience they had in the store. So we're building one of our newer stores then, and we wanted an architect, right, that could really help us deliver on this vision, right? This intent for this beautiful location that is functional but really gives people a great experience. We went through, talked to a few people, got some quotations, and we settled on a gentleman who had been in the business for a while, almost 15 years, was skilled, knew his stuff, he offered a good rate. And because he also happened to have a connection to our family, we thought, this guy is the one. So we went with him, and he did okay. I mean, he produced the drawings. They were fine, not particularly amazing, but they were fine. When it came time to come to site, to do the inspections and help the people implement, it was a struggle. He didn't really come as often as he wanted. We had some friction, but we shall manage ourselves, and we finished the project. You know, we paid him what we thought was quite a sizable fee for what we ended up getting, but that was that experience. I'll contrast it to another group. There were another group of architects who were young architects, hungry, new business, trying to make a way for their company. And they came to us with a different request, a similar request. We're looking to do some interior design work, looking for some options. And because they didn't have really much credibility, they had to do a whole design to show what they could do. They did it, and it was quite good. But we didn't think it was right. We gave them some feedback. They took it in good stead. They went, revised it. But that project stalled, so we didn't even go forward. And then another project came. We asked them to come. They said they would be happy to come, but said on this one they needed to charge. They came up with a fee that was reasonable, but given the urgency, we did it. They went through and did the work. There were a few delays, but they did excellent work. They were committed to the project. They showed up to the site when they needed to be, and they really produced an excellent deliverable at the end of the day. Which of those two architects do you think we'll work with going forward? The first very experienced one or the second one? The second one, right? It's a bit of a no-brainer. But somehow, as obvious as it is to say, it is not what people do, right? As a business person, I see a lot of people for interviews. I review a reasonable number of proposals, but talent or good character is scarce. It's really bizarre, but it is extremely scarce to find. And having that good character, for me, is the first ingredient, the first cornerstone of having any chance at success. And the truth is, it's not even just success in business, it's success in whatever it is one is setting out to do. And give me a moment and I'll break down what I mean by good character. All right. So I was trying to figure out what's the right framework to explain this and to structure this. And I thought about it for a while, and at the end of the day, I came back to a Bible verse, right? And I don't want to sound overly spiritual because I'm a Christian, but I'm not that kind of person. But the truth is, the Bible is truly an amazing book, right? It's God's truth, and He's laid out a lot of the principles for life that work for us as Christians. And the funny thing about it is, it even works for non-Christians when they apply a number of those principles. On this point on character, I think that the place that I found summarizes best are the fruit of the Spirit. And yes, the fruit of the Spirit are expressed in our lives as we yield to the Spirit of God and He does His work in us. But when you talk about what does good character look like, I still think that's the best description of it. And I'll just read it quickly, right? Galatians 5:22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. I'll just pick a couple of those, just again, to keep it very simple, so we can walk away with a few things. I'm just going to talk about 4 key elements. I think if you can get these 4 key elements imbibed into who you are and how you behave, you're going to set yourself up for long-term success. The first one, I guess the fruit of the Spirit calls it joy, but I think as business people, the word I'll use is positivity. If you are going to be an entrepreneur, you need to be a positive person. The world will give you let me not say 1,000,001 reasons. The world will give you a dozen reasons to shut down, and that's in one day. Every single day, you face endless amount of reasons to stop and not go forward. If you can't find a way to have positivity, and what I've found, by the way, is positivity mostly comes from hope. You are not going to make it as an entrepreneur. So if you think you're a negative person and you're trying to be an entrepreneur, honestly, you should check yourself. And again, right, as Christians, right, one of the scriptures that helps me a lot, I think it's in Romans 8, that says, God's plans for me are good, right? And his intention is to bring me to a positive end. So you need to find hope and find positivity as the first thing that you need to work into your spirit and the person who you are. Otherwise, it's going to be tough for you to be an entrepreneur. The second one is kindness, right? They call it kindness or gentleness and self-control. For me, again, the attribute really is caring and honest. And to put it very simply is, do you treat people right? Do you treat people right? And I mean, Mrs. Ronke's example around, being rude to people in line, I think is a good example. If you are going to be successful, you need to learn how to treat people right. Whether they're the cleaner, whether they're the Okada driver, whether they're the CEO of the company, you need to develop and cultivate an essence where you treat everybody with dignity and respect. Because when you do that naturally, even when you're under pressure, when there's no money, when you're stressed, it is easier for you to do it. And if you don't treat your employees right, you don't treat your customers right, you're going to run into trouble, right? It's the second thing I think is critical. There's a gentleman called Patrick Lencioni. So as I go through, I'll offer a few resources for those who want to research. Because again, Mrs. Ronke already talked about it. Learning and growing is a critical part of success. So if you want to learn more around what does it really mean to treat people right and to create an environment and a space in which you get that attribute right, there's a gentleman called Patrick Lencioni that has written a lot of great books on this topic. All right, the next fruit of the Spirit is faithfulness. And for me, I boiled it down to really hard work, which is, are you willing to see things through? I'm running a bit behind, but can I pause and tell you one more story? All right. So I used to work at a company called GE. It's a big American conglomerate. 20 years ago, it was one of the most admired companies in the world. So it was a good company, right? Well structured, organized. You have to do good work there. So when I worked there, I thought I knew how to work, right? I'd work from 8 to 6, every now and again, maybe I need to do some small thing when I got home. And, I was a hard worker, right? I thought I understood what it meant to put in work and to do good work. Then I joined a management consulting company called McKinsey & Company, but it's just a big, well-organized management consulting firm. And I realized I did not know what it meant to work. And I had absolutely no clue what a workday was. I think it's a great company. I loved my experience there. I love management consulting, but it's just a different beast. In that context, a 14-hour workday is just normal. It's not like you've worked extra hard, it's just normal. During the normal workday from 8 to 5, you are collecting information, interviewing clients, doing some analysis. Then from 6 to, depending on how organized you are and how much work you have to do, 6 to 11, 6 to midnight, maybe 6 to 1 a.m., you sit down and you actually process the information you gather during the day to deliver work. And you do this Monday to Friday. Maybe a little bit on Saturday, but thankfully they don't ask you to work on Sunday. In my first project, my project manager was so intense that when I used to get up to go to the bathroom, you ask me, Ade, where are you going? So I'll be sitting there. I want to go to the bathroom, but I'll be looking at this man. But it gave me a whole different definition of what hard work meant. And a bit like the earlier speaker spoke about as well, I worry a little bit around the messaging in our culture today around hacks and shortcuts. There are very few, I'd almost say there's no shortcuts, honestly, to getting things done right. And I'll quote one other one other leading speaker on this point. It relates to my next point, but I'll go ahead and say it now anyhow. Now, does anyone know who Malcolm Gladwell is? All right. So Malcolm Gladwell is a researcher and business author. He doesn't just speak because he thinks it's a good idea and he thought about it for 10 minutes, right? He does stuff after doing an extensive amount of research, and he actually lays out the research he used to lead to his conclusions. And in his book called Outliers, and his books are very interesting, by the way, so if you're looking for amusing, useful reading, pick up a Malcolm Gladwell book. You amuse yourself, but you actually also learn. And he said the following in this book called Outliers. He said he created something called the 10,000-hour rule. And it goes like this. Malcolm Gladwell asserts that the key to achieving true expertise in any skill is simply a matter of practice, albeit in the correct way for at least 10,000 hours. So, the key to achieving true expertise in any skill is simply a matter of practicing, albeit in the correct way for at least 10,000 hours. If you do the math and break it down, how long does it take to practice something for 10,000 hours? You are probably talking 6 to 10 years, assuming you are practicing it correctly the whole way through. And the key about correctly, I think, is the other thing not to forget, in that oftentimes we work, right? Whether you make clothes, you bake bread, you lay tiles, but we do it thoughtlessly, right? We are not thinking through, am I doing this thing right? How can I do it better? Did the outcome I intended come out? We're just going through the motions. So his concept is not just about putting in the time, it's about putting in the time thoughtfully to become excellent at what it is you do. And for me, the second to last attribute I want to talk about when I talk about character is this point around excellence. And really imbibing as a natural state, doing anything you do, doing it well. The people who are successful just naturally do anything they do. They put their all into it to do it well. I'm not very old, so don't mistake my next statement. But I've been working professionally full-time for a little over 20 years now. And it's been long enough that you can see people's career and trajectory, right? In 3 years, 5 years, everything is a bit of a toss-up. In 10 years, you start to see distribution. By 15 years, 20 years, you start to see the results, right, of the way people have been and the way people have lived. And the amazing thing that I find when I reflect on the cohorts I've known for that long is the people I thought would be successful then are the people who have been successful in various fields and various ways. And it boils down to, back then I didn't know which jobs they were going to get. I wasn't even sure who would be a pastor, who would stay in business, who would become a consultant, who would become a businessman. I didn't know, right? We're all young. But in all the different fields, those people are like, there's something special about this guy. Those people have all been successful. And what did it boil down to? Their character. Because that's the only thing I had to reference them with then, and it has seen them through. So I'll wrap again to say the first key element, if you're going to enjoy success, is getting your character right. And for me, there were 4 key things I talked about. One is positivity, or joy is the way the fruit of the Spirit talks about it. Being caring and honest is the second one, or learning to treat people right. The third one, I'll call it hard work. Fruit of the Spirit calls it faithfulness. And then the last one is excellence. It is really imbibing this approach that anything you do, you just do it well. The other point I should make is this point around forbearance and perseverance. I think it's a critical attribute as well, but I'll save it. I'll save it for my last point. Are you guys still with me? If you are, let me see you wave. All right. Okay, so I'll go on to the second key elements because I only have so many minutes with you, which is the fundamentals of running a business. Can I start with another story? All right. So I was with an old friend a few years ago, and an old friend that has experienced some success in his business, right? He produces some consumer products, and he's been doing this for quite a while. Excuse me. And we had a discussion. It's like, Ade, I really want to grow this business. I want to scale it. I've gotten some good people who have prophesied into my life that I think this is time for my business to grow. I would love some input from you, some help as you do this. And I'm like, my guy, I got you. I might not have all the time in the world, but what I have, I'll invest with you to help you kind of think through this and offer what I can. And as we start the discussion, I pick up one of his products, and I ask the question, what's your gross profit on this product? And he looks at me blankly. I'm like, okay, my bad. Maybe a bit too much business lingo. What does it cost you to make this product? He says some stuff, but it doesn't answer my question at all. So I try a third time. What is the cost of the major raw material that you use to make this item I'm holding? And the guy didn't know. He had some idea of how much material he bought into the business. He had some general sense of which products were more profitable than others, but he had no idea how much it cost him to make a product he was selling at a defined price. It just blew my mind, right? If he had just started maybe 2 years ago, I would not have been forced, but he had been at this for many years, and he was making this complete, ready-to-purchase products. And honestly, I was weak. Maybe is the way to say it. Because if you're running a business, right, and I'll maybe keep it very simple, right? In my mind, a business at the end of the day is an entity that exists to solve a customer's problem for a profit. It's really that simple in my mind. It exists to solve a customer's problem and generate a profit. If you're an NGO, you want to solve some problem, but you don't need a profit. If you're a business, you need to get there. So if you're running a business and you do not understand the basics of your profitability and your cash flow, I won't lie to you, you are not running a business, right? You might have a hobby, you might have a general practice, but you are not running a business. The start to running a business is some level of financial management of what you're doing. So the first thing you might need to check to say, am I good here or do I need to get better at, is the basics around financial management. Understanding what is your unit cost per product. Understanding what are your fixed costs and how are your fixed costs or your variable costs changing as your business is evolving. I don't think I need to tell business owners about cash flow. I think every business owner intuitively gets it, right? The day there's no money coming in, the whole thing shuts down. So I think that one is quite self-explanatory. In today's world, there's just an incredible amount of resources available to learn. Much more than when I started out my career, and you can't even compare it to when the generation before us started their career. So we can't blame lack of access, right? And I'll offer two that are free. You can go after paid ones. I think many people here probably know Udemy, right? Cheap courses or free courses, okay, maybe not as many as I thought. So udemy.com, U-D-E-M-Y, right? And Coursera, I think it's just the word course, and I think they put S-C-R-A at the end, offer an incredible wealth of courses. I was amazed, honestly, around the depth and the level of detail in the courses that they either are offering for free or for very little. So if you need help in that area, manage yourself, pick one, and go after it. Okay, can I tell one more story? All right. So, back when I was a consultant, I had to go do some work with a client in Apapa. And I know some parts of Lagos fairly well, but I don't know Apapa at all. Maybe been there twice my whole life. So I'm there, I go in the morning. Anyone who knows Apapa is the port city in Lagos, right? So it's a bit removed from, whether you're coming from Ikeja or coming from Lekki, it's quite a bit removed. A lot of logjam on the roads. Anyhow, I go there, long day. I didn't plan properly. I finished very late. By this time, it was like 4. At 18 in the morning, I was just starving. Okay? And I knew I had to go and face this traffic to go back. And while I'm in the car, I still had to walk because I was still a consultant. Remember, 14-hour days. You can't be wasting 1.5 hours sitting in the car. You can't do that. So I had to eat something. So I literally was asking this driver to drive around in some random part of Apapa just so I could find something to eat. My stomach also is a bit sensitive, so I can't just pick any roadside amala or roadside buns and say I'll eat it and not feel sorry for myself. So I got lucky when I saw some guys selling gala. I was like, thank Jesus. At least this one I know is okay. I'll buy some gala, eat gala. I think maybe I'd found some Coke or something, and I'll be fine. I'll re-energize, and then I can face front and do my work comfortably in this car as I'm driving back to the island. And obviously I know gala, but apparently I hadn't eaten gala in a really long time. So I did not know what I was getting involved with. I'm used to eating Foodco sausage roll. That is, in my mind, what sausage roll is. So, needless to say, I could not, as hungry as I was, I could not finish this thing. And I started to wonder, like, Paulo ṣe ń ta kíní? Torí kíní yẹn ń ta o. I tell that story to illustrate, I think, the second key point in a business, which is the concept of a value proposition, which is, let me say it this way. You need to be solving a customer's problem better than their next alternative for them to subscribe to you. So first, you need to be solving a problem, which is not obvious itself in itself. So you need to block that one. Next one, you need to be solving it better than the next guy. Otherwise, they have no reason to come to you. And the definition of better is quite broad, multidimensional, but that's really at its essence. Okay, so back to our story, right? So clearly, the key value proposition of gala is not incredible taste, flavor, and freshness, right? That's really not it, right? The key value proposition for gala is nutrition, right? Quality, trusted nutrition available on the go. That's what it was. And at that point in time, it actually delivered on its value proposition. It was trusted, it was quality, it was nutrition, and it was available readily on the go. So it delivered on its value proposition. But unfortunately for me, I had slightly different requirements than that product. If you compare it to our own sausage roll as an example, it's a different value proposition, right? It's not going to be available everywhere. It's not going to be preservable for 4 days or, sorry, what am I saying, 4 days? For 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is gala is preservable for. But it's going to give you better taste, better flavor, and it's going to give you good value. I assume it's more expensive than gala, but it's more expensive, huh? But you have to pay a bit more for it. But the value proposition is different, so it solves a different need. So for your business, you need to figure out how to get this value proposition right. Sorry. I forgot to say one thing when I was talking about profits and cash. And I'll come back to value proposition. Not every business not every business or every sector can sustainably provide a profit. Not every business in every sector can sustainably provide a profit. Many can, but not all. So they call it market structure or industry dynamics, many different words. But you need to take some time, no matter how long, no matter how far you think you are in it, right? If you're not sure about your industry, you need to pause and really reflect and say, in this market, are there enough examples of how people are sustainably running profitable businesses here? And I'll use the US just to use a couple of points to illustrate it. In the US, the average grocery chain has a net profit. I'm out of time. I would have asked you guys to guess. You can guess in your mind. Has the average net profit of like 1% to 2%. Grocery businesses in the US don't make much money. Some slight changes with COVID, but let's leave that alone. Quick service restaurant businesses in the US, and I'm saying the US because their numbers are easy to report, right? Easy to research. Nigeria is obviously, we're working on it. The quick service restaurant industry, their profits are more like 8%. And that's generally even after paying quite some money to a franchisee. So if you combine what the franchisee takes to what the franchisor takes, those businesses can have net profits more like in the 10% range. Those in the software, I guess software business can be a bit funny. There are a few different business models. But what with the normal software businesses, right, that are focused on making a profit and not just growing at all expenses, they can have net profits north of 30%, right? 30, 40% in some cases. It is, I'll use the word, it's a bit insane, but it's what it is. So you need to understand your particular markets, right? And say, hey, in this business, have I looked around, Shemoti Row, and is it obvious that if I can get this thing done right, I can actually make money? In most places, the answer is yes, so don't get me wrong. But you need to ensure you've thought about it. Okay, so back to my points on the value proposition. And I'll tell one story, one more here to just bring it home. My wife has been on a mission to find boo-boos for like 5 years. Just normal boo-boo. She, first of all, sent some people to market, to help her buy some. They bought it, they look nice. After like 3 months, they didn't look so nice. After 6 months, you can put your hand through the hole that emerges after washing it. So that was a failure. Next, she tried to get 1 or 2 people to sew. They were okay. It wasn't particularly affordable, and it was just okay. So after a while, she just kind of moved on. Then one day, she ran into a vendor. And the way I found out about it is she asked me to say, please transfer 50K to this person. I was like, kilo 50K, Rabbi. But I said that in my mind. I'm a married man. There are some things you say in your mind. There are some things you can say out. Those married men here know the difference. My outward response was definitely love. I'll do it now. So I got home and I was wondering, how did this woman spend money on again? I got home and I saw the products and I was like, wow. She found a vendor that I think was just slightly expensive. This is my view. So selling these things for 10,000 naira each. She bought 5, but they were gorgeous. In my life, I've never seen boo-boos this fine. Not only were they boo-boos, there were new modern designs, not old designs. The fabrics were unique. The tailoring was exquisite, and the fit was just perfect. I was like, wow, you have done well. She found a vendor that has understood and delivered on the essence of value proposition. This lady only does boo-boo. No Ankara, no Gele, no Buba. She does boo-boo. And she has figured out how to make the best boo-boos in, at least the markets my wife is in, at a price which is very modest premium compared to what some other options that are dramatically less quality can provide. She has gotten the essence of value proposition. For each business is different. Some it's about lower cost, faster delivery, better service. There are different ways to solve that. But if you are in business, you need to figure out what is your own value proposition. Are you with me? Are you with me? Okay. The next key element, and I'm a bit out of time, so I'll rush a little bit now, on fundamentals of running a business is something called an operating model. It's a big word that simply means what are the set of processes through which you produce whatever it is you produce. Just what are the set of processes through which you produce whatever it is you produce, right? If you are in the fashion design industry, is how do you go about getting the fabric, cutting the fabric, sewing the fabric? Sorry, I missed some steps. I'm not in that space. I'm packaging the product for delivery, right? If you're in the baking space, it's the same thing. How do you source your raw materials? How do you store your raw materials? How do you measure those raw materials? How do you bake the product? How do you store the product? How do you package it? What are the steps you go through to do that? And the reason this is critical is this is where quality issues come from. This is where there's a deviation between what you intend to have happen and what actually happens, right? And I'll use our business as an example, right? It's not every day you buy Foodco meat pie that is the same. Right? I'm hopeful that more days than not, it is the Foodco meat pie you are intending to purchase that you got, right? But the the frequency of deviation, right, from that intended meat pie is a result of the effectiveness of our operating model or the processes with which we use to produce that meat pie. Are you still with me? So it's a bit easier when it's just you, right? When it's just you, it's very controllable. Your head will be correct. It's your own business. You know how you sort yourself out. But as you start to scale and hire one staff, two staff, one other person is cutting, you're not the one cutting, another person is mixing, it's a different person buying the raw materials. So you need to take time to learn how do you design processes in a way that they are controlled and deliver on the intended result. And the keywords, if you want to go learn about it, is process design, quality control, employee incentives. Those are the things you need to learn if you want to figure out how do you get an operating model that can actually work for your business. But that's maybe I'll call it the third key element to being and running a successful business. You need to understand what that is and how to do it well. The last one I'll talk about is distribution. And sometimes we'll call it sales and marketing, but I prefer the word distribution. I think it paints the right image in one's mind. And I'll take the example of this lady that makes it. I don't know her from Adam, by the way. I don't even know what her business is called. But she has an amazing product. But if she hasn't figured out how can I get this product to more of the people who are in the customer base that want this product, then although it is the best product in its category, she's not going to be able to grow the business very much or sell very much of the product. Are you with me? Are you with me? All right. So the next element you need to understand as a business is distribution. How are you going to get your product out in the face of your customers? And the great thing about the world today, which is great, honestly, for a small business owner, is, what are the words I'm looking for? Communication is a lot easier, right? Whether it's networking through your folks in church, whether it's marketing on Instagram, whether it's asking other friends who are on an Instagram to market for you, or finding a friend who knows another friend that has a great followership that you can market to, or going to visit your friend who's in another city and is in a youth group, that you can go to the youth group and present your products after their service. I mean, there's just so many more mediums for how you can find and get your products in front of the target customers now than there was 10 or 15 years ago. But you need to be actively thinking about it as a different discipline of your business, right? You've got a great product with a great value proposition. You figured out how to make it. Next, you need to figure out how do you distribute these products. Okay. I'll move to some closing thoughts. There was one key attribute that I talked about, element of character I talked about in the beginning that I said I would say for last. And I wanted to save it for last because even when you've done it all right, it doesn't mean it's always going to be rosy and beautiful. It doesn't mean it's always going to be seamless. I like to say life is not a Disney movie. Has anybody watched a Disney movie before? I mean, they're just beautiful, right? It's flowing, small challenge, not too much, but enough to make it interesting, and it just flows smoothly into happily ever after, right? It doesn't always work like that. So the other key element you need to build into who you are is perseverance. Is the ability to stand your ground and go through even when things are difficult. Because even when everything is right, you're still going to have to face obstacles, and sometimes there's no other answer but double down and see it through. And I'll tell one example here, one very short story here to illustrate it. There was a time in my consulting career when, man, they tested me. I was at my wit's end. I remember I was on this project that was, I don't even know the word to describe it, but let me give you an illustration. There are a few times that I worked pretty much worked overnight, right? Worked till about 5 a.m. And I had to go on just to shower, change, and go back, go back to the office. I remember my poor wife, 2 of those nights, just I slept on the couch while she was waiting for me. We didn't have kids, and I felt so bad. But that's how challenging this thing was. So I went to a mentor. Another good thing Ms. Ronke said is you need some wise people in your life to go to. And I went to this man, and I'm like, can you sue me? And the guy just, I think he actually laughed. He actually laughed a little bit. And he just said 3 words to me. He said, it builds character. And he moved on. I'm like, bye-bye. Did he not hear what I just told him? But that's all he told me, is it builds character. Thankfully, I had the good sense not to get offended, so I managed myself and I saw it through. And again, talking about how incredible the Bible is, right? The Bible really says the same thing in James chapter 1. Let me get this right. James chapter 1, verse 2. My fellow believers, when it seems as though you're facing nothing but difficulties, see it as an invaluable opportunity to experience the greatest joy that you can. For you know that when your faith is tested, it stirs up the power of endurance. And then as your endurance grows even stronger, it will release perfection into every part of you, into every part of your being, until there's nothing missing and nothing that is lacking. So at the end of the day, after you get a lot of this thing right, sometimes it's just going to boil down to perseverance. And you're being able to stand there and see things through. The one thing I will add to that, though, is you need to ensure that you are doing it with wisdom. And that's where this community of advisors is important. And community of advisors do not mean, 70-year-old men that have run, billion-dollar businesses. They're just people who have some experience and some wisdom in certain areas. They're people who are around you today, other people in your church, in your community, who have certain experience and knowledge in an area that can be helpful to you. So when you're in those difficult times and you're trying to understand what am I doing wrong, that is the place you go to ensure that indeed you have done the things you need to do, and all you need to do is to persevere. I'll wrap up by going back to something from the introduction, which is Nigeria is a huge growing market. It's a tough market, but it's a market in which many foreigners are investing and making money. And for those people who can figure out how to do business well here, you truly can build a profitable and long-lasting business. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so very much. Oh, wow. Can we do better? Thank you so very much. We appreciate you for your time. So please, let's have our seat. Wow, that's so much to take in. How many of us are writing down? Hope you're writing something down. I hope your note is full. Thank you for giving us so much in little time, sir. We appreciate you. And I'm here to tell you that I'm one of your faithful customers because I'm a bread lover. And when it's not Foodco bread, I'm not okay. Thank you for giving us quality. I am one of those who identify with your value proposition when it comes to bread. At least that's one product that has been consistent. All right, to take us further, we have the opportunity to ask him this question right now. We're just going to take 2 people who has a question for him. You have the opportunity. Number 1, please come. Please come to this side. Who's the second person? I'm just giving 2 people. Okay, please come to this side where the microphone is. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for an insightful session. My question is this. Foodco have been around. This one is a personal question. Foodco have been around for a while now. I just want to know, how has Foodco been able to survive despite the big competition of the ShopRite, the other supermarket? How have you been able to stand the test of time? That's my question.
Sorry, let me take one by one so I don't forget. I don't have a notebook to write. So I think the first thing I'll say is and I don't say this tongue in cheek, right? I think it's the grace of God. I think I'm a Christian, we're a Christian family, we believe in God, we work hard to serve God, and His favor and blessings have been on our lives. But I think there are a few things that are also important to reflect. One is the business hasn't always survived. I think this group is maybe young, but some of the older people might remember when the business, I would just say it actually died. There honestly was no good reason for the business to have survived the most challenging part of its life. Business is 40 years old. Right about 2000, it crashed. Then we had much smaller branches, but the business had 4. It dropped to 1. It would drop to 1 branch, and honestly, that branch really had nothing going on. It really was a shell. And if you go back to the discussion we had around what went wrong in the business, it was the operating model, right? The business did not have an effective way to drive controls. Its processes weren't sufficiently well defined, so and the business could not wrap its arm around it quickly enough. So the business died. So one, it didn't always survive. But then the answer to then your question is, look, there was a phase where we kind of tried to build the business back, had to do a bunch of creative stuff. But let's fast forward to now, which is when your question is relevant. So over the last 15 years or what have you, how has the business thrived? I think it's a few things. And one, our business is not perfect, right? Everyone who's been to us can, I'm sure, tell good stories and bad stories. But we try to focus on delivering a value proposition to customers, right? We try to solve some problems for the customers better than others. We work hard on being more convenient, right? So we have many branches all over, so we can be a bit more convenient than ShopRite, to use our next big competitor. We work on really ensuring we deliver quality, right? We work really, really hard to, one, not let fake products into our store. We also work hard to ensure we deliver good quality products in the places where we make, so people can value that. But we also work on value, right? I mean, we are frugal people. We appreciate the value of Naira. So we work really hard to ensure that we're delivering good value. Our products might not necessarily be the cheapest, but they'll be well priced, sometimes very affordable, but you always get value for your money. So being able to focus on these things has helped us to be able to meet some needs and allow some customers to pick us over some other competitors. The other thing that is important, and I think Mrs. Ronke also mentioned it, is this thing about the market that you're in, right? We've also been in a market that is doing well, which is Ibadan, and has grown. So we've also had some opportunity to benefit from that growth. So without being too long-winded, I hope that answered that question.
Thank you. Okay, I want to appreciate you for this session. It was mind-blowing. My name is Jeremiah Oluwarinu. I am a clean energy consultant. I run a renewable energy solution startup. And I would want to say, Foodco has been a personal case study for me. And
Sorry,
I was going to
move
ask,
the mic a bit closer to your mic.
Yes, Foodco has been a personal case study for me because I've studied it since when mom was still in charge and dad, and everything that happened when you had to stop in the early 2000s and you had to come back up and all the work that has been done. I was going to ask that question, but she has already done that. Now, the second question I'm going to ask is the place of character. Now, as a business owner, you talk about the importance of perseverance, having the right character, handling situations. But how do you manage when you have this issue of clients that do not perceive the value you hope to give them, and they want you to go below your expectations to achieve their own satisfaction at the expense of you not going or scaling as you ought to? So how
at the expense of you what?
Not going or scaling the way you ought to. So how do you balance the issue of managing character conflicts between you, your clients, your team? How do you manage that?
Okay. So I think maybe a few things. One around clients, around managing character. I think the truth is on character. On character, you shouldn't really manage, right? You should be holding up to your ideals. And I know in Nigeria is always a bit challenging, but when you feel like you're trying to balance your character or cut corners that you're not comfortable with, that should already be the first red flag that maybe this is not something I should be doing or a person I should be involved in. Not every client is a good client. Not every customer is a customer you should be serving or selling to. Sometimes the past is very obvious, right? Is when they are having you defy your values. The other part that is problematic is when they just don't see value in your product. And I'll talk about kind of one of my failed businesses to illustrate this. Many years ago, I started with a couple of colleagues a web design business. This was 2004. So the internet was still a bit, was still a bit new, right? For the younger people, they're like, what are you talking about? Yes, the internet was very new at one point. There's a time when people did not have internet. So we started a business to deliver website design services to small and medium-sized businesses. And we struggled. We had a good product. We got a good technical team, small team, but focused team. But we had a product where, because we are not creating templatized products, we're trying to deliver custom products, we're chasing a market segment that struggled to see the value in that product, right? So we did business for a few years, but we were not able to get enough business at a price that made sense for us, for that business to sustain. So after a few years, we had to shut it down, take our losses, and go home. And that's because the particular segment we were going after, there weren't enough customers that valued that product. So I'm trying to say it simply. You need to also test, right? And that's why going in the field is important. And in tech, they call it pivots. It's just a big word to say you change your approach, right? As you go around in business, you need to be continually taking the feedback and learning and adjusting. If you've taken a product to 100 clients, by then you should be able to sit down and do analysis. 100 people sorrow, meji lora, you need to be able to understand what is the feedback telling you. Are they suggesting there's a different product that you need? Do you need to enhance the product, different features, different price? Or do you need to go after a different customer entirely, right? You need to understand that. So I think maybe a bit long-winded, but that's what I would offer for you, right? To stick to the ideals and evolve where you need to. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, we are gradually coming to the end, but we want you to, there's still going to be questions. There's still going to be, sorry, excuse me. Thank you. All right, so if you still have questions, just keep them in your mind. There's still going to be another session for that. There's still a panel session. There's still one more session after this. And then there's another session where we're going to be networking. You get to meet people and relax over some, bite while you do that. So we want you to keep that in mind. So I'm going to be bringing up the next speaker, or the third speaker for today. And our profile is heavy. So what I'll try to do is I'll read the first paragraph and then I'll jump to the last paragraph. Please permit me, ma, so that we can bring her up and we can hear what she has to say to us. Tinu Smith is an award-winning Nigerian-based fashion designer. She's the CEO of Datina Designs and Fashion School. She is a Goldman Sachs scholar from the Educational Development Center, Pan Atlantic University, where she studied entrepreneurial management. She's a recipient of She Trades, a businesswoman's empowerment initiative under the International Trade Center. She's also, she has empowered over 10,000 youths with various vocational skills. She's a certified business and relationship coach. She runs Treasures Refuge Foundation, a social enterprise focused on mentoring young women. She's a deep lover of music. She's married with 2 lovely children. Can we, with a clapping ovation, welcome her as she takes us further from here. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you,
Can we have a seat? And it's a pleasure to be here today again. This is family for me, and I want to celebrate Pastor Femi and Tolu Aladesomi. Thank you for always having me. And my sweet sis, thank you so much. God bless you. It's always a pleasure to see you. And I was so blessed by what you shared. God bless you. And to everyone in the crowd, thank you for coming. If you are not here, we will not be here. So today, because I see our time is far gone, so I'm to speak on structure and strategy. And it's like we are going back to school. This should have been the first class for today. So because the deep part of business, and it's something that holds business together. When you don't have structure, you can't grow. When you don't have strategy, you can't expand or move anywhere. So when it comes to structure, I want us to bring our minds to church. Nothing grows without structure. Let's assume on Sunday service you come to church, and Pastor Femi, church is 9, Pastor Femi comes in at 11 o'clock. I'm sure some of you will be wondering, what's going on here? And let's assume he does that like 4 weeks consecutively, and then the ushers are not on duty when they should be on duty. The old church is scattered. The fans are upside down. And please be imagining as I'm telling you. And then when you come to church, Pastor Femi is asking Pastor Tolu, please, what's next on the agenda? And there's nothing written down for the agenda for the service. Would you come back to church next Sunday? When you come to church, you just say, in fact, church they won't get around. And the choir did not have a rehearsal, and they come and sing, and somebody is singing off key. There was no rehearsal. You know, you can imagine. That's what structure is all about. If you come into this church, I love churches that have structure. The Spirit of God is there. But the Bible always says, add works to your faith. Structure is what puts things together. We are all here today. Some people had worked behind the scene to make this happen. You can see the beautiful pamphlet. That, let's say we just come for business meeting and you get here. The speakers are not here. People are waiting and you are hungry. By 2 o'clock, you carry your bag. These people are not serious. So that is how it is when your business does not have structure. When your staff can just go into your store and just pick up anything, and you won't know anything is missing. Anybody can just come in. Let's say your opening hours is 9 o'clock, and then my staff is coming at 10 o'clock and just strolling it. And nobody is, saying what's going on here. So, structure is the life of a business. And I noticed that most of us that run small businesses, we don't have it. The only thing in our head as business owner is, let me sell my shoe, let me sell my bag. Today, what am I going to sell? Money must come in today. That's the only thing that comes to our mind. And so we just run the routine, opening our store, opening our shops, opening our offices every day. I have been here before, 10 years. My business is 28 years. Out of this 28, 10 years, I was just going like this, round and round, because I didn't know there was anything like structure. I had my skill, I started a business, and I was making money. That's all. I don't even know how to manage the money itself, because there's part of financial structure also. So structure is the life of the business. When you see something growing, it's because there is structure. Everything is planned. When your customers come in, what is the first thing for your staff to do if you are not there? How do they welcome the staff? How do they attend to the staff? Maybe they brought like 10 clothes. How do they tag it? How do they collect it? Are you the one that when they collect the clothes, I'm going to use my experience because I'm a fashion designer, and then Mrs. Lagbaja came in and brought 10 clothes, and you promised them they will collect it next week. And then next week they are calling you, and you say, we've not even touched it. It's bad structure that causes it. And they always label us tailors. They say tailors take more than they can. They bite more than they can chew. It's because there is no structure. If somebody comes in and brings it, and we already have a structure that when you come in, we are ready. I will tell my staff, as the customer is sitting down, you have a pen and a biro, a paper. We have a book. You're already writing down everything you promise the customer. Date is there. When are they collect? The styles are there. They even fight you over the style they chose. They chose long sleeve, you will do short sleeve. Because you didn't write anything down. Those are structures. And then when you step out of your office, if there is a process like Mr. Adebash just told us, you don't have to worry, because once you're not there, the structure is already there. That whether madam is there or madam is not there, this is how we work here. Everybody already knows. So that's what structure does. It helps the business to run. Now I can travel. She was talking about traveling out of Nigeria. If she goes and there's no structure, by the time she comes back, the business is gone. And that's why most businesses collapse, because there's no structure. Nobody knows what to do. I don't know what to do to customer. Even savings, there's no structure for it. How to raise funding for the business, no structure. Because there are times that business will struggle. But part of being having good structure is learning how to fundraise before issues come. So those are ways. So I'll go into what I've written. I say structures and strategies are two major activities a business that desire growth must take into consideration. Structure is more of internal activities, and the strategy is majorly about a company venturing out. Most times, businesses in Nigeria, we don't have strategy. We are just doing it. I have my skill, I open my shop, I buy machine, I do this, I do that, and I'm No, you have to strategize. How do I want to sell? How many things do I want to sell? In a month, if I make 300,000, what is my strategy for sale for next month? If I've made 300 this month, how much do I want to make next month? Most of the time, we don't think about that. As long as, what will happen next month? Do you know what the market is saying? So those are ways you have to work on your structures. Your sales strategy must be there. And we are not making sales. What can we do? You come back together to the table and think about it. So those two things are what keeps the business moving. Most small businesses struggle because they do not have a solid internal structure and strategy for growth. So structure, what does it mean? It means to arrange or construct according to a plan or given pattern. It means the arrangement of people or things. Organizational structure is a system that outlines how certain activities are directed in order to achieve the goals of an organization. Structure captures your day-to-day operations of an organization. So when we come in every day into our business, what happens? Is it that everybody just comes in at any time? Like good businesses, when your staff come in, there should be a place they sign in the morning. Don't say because I am a one-man business, we can just come in at any time. Then they'll be telling you cock and bull story. The car broke down. Their car is always breaking down. Okada is always eating them. Something is always happening. But when they know that there's a measure for not coming, early, they know if you don't come early, there is an amount that is removed from your money. So everybody will adjust. It's not that they can just walk in anytime when they like. So that's part of structure. So they sign in when they come in. And when they come in, there is what they call, when they finish their job for the day, you have a record of what everybody has done for the day. That's structure. If, for instance, if they are sewing for me, they come in at a particular time at 9 o'clock. And when they are going in the evening, they also sign out. And then there is what we call work log. What have you done for the day? And I tell them at the end of the month, I sit down and calculate what you have done. If your work is not equivalent to how much you agreed for payment, I will not pay it. And I would have told you that when you are getting the job. So we need to start putting those measures in. But at times, because we think all those things are good for banks and all those places, my husband he's not a business owner. And at his age, he's a big manager. He still clocks in where he works and clocks out. And it happens outside the country too for a lot of companies. So why do we think because we are small businesses, our staff too should just work in and work out when they like? In my office, we have 1 hour break from 2 to 3. You can go and do whatever you like. You like go to Ilorin and come back. It must not be more than that 1 hour. You go and eat, do anything you like, and you are back to work by 3 o'clock. What? So that you'll not be using them throughout the day. That break is also structure. Some of us don't know that. We will use them. From 9 to 6, they must work. No break. If they do that, after a while, their productivity will drop. They will not be useful to you. You understand what I'm saying? So those are little things we put in your business. They are happy that they can have a break, 1 hour to themselves. In fact, some of them find a place to put their head and rest, to rest their bodies. So we need to, and you provide a place for them to eat. You know, those are things we need to put in our businesses. A place where your staff can sit down and eat. We don't think of that. Let them just come to work and be working for you from 9 to 6. What's it not? But you're using them. At times, those are labor issues that we have in this type of Africa. We just overuse people anyhow. And then their productivity will drop. So they will not give us the best. So when they finish sewing, you just see that one sleeve is longer than the other because they are tired. They are human beings like you. So we need to put all these little structures in our business. Don't let us say, because it's a small business, so that's why we should do it like that. So important activities in structure. These activities include rules and regulations that you're going to lay down in your business. Roles. Give everybody a role. So you don't be somebody that will come into your business and you're always screaming, why is this like this? Why? Why are you screaming? You won't be screaming if you do the right thing, if you put the right things, structures there. If somebody is in charge of the thread in my office, nobody can just go into the cupboard and just pick it. She's in charge of all the accessories, and she locks the cupboard. And there's a book. When they take white thread out of it, she marks it. I've given them 5. So if I open the cupboard and what I have in stock is 10, and they've only used 5, you cannot tell me 10 has disappeared. Because they are no human beings that they can't walk. So you that holds the key, you are in trouble. Those are structures. It was a crazy place in my office before, I'm telling you. Those are things I learned when I went to Lagos business. In fact, it was like they removed something from my face and saying, this is why I've been struggling with my business, because there's no structure. I will just be screaming. Say, who carried somebody? Even fabrics get lost. Customers' fabric. Because I had a lot of, like 25 staffs. And then they were pushing it. You are the one that collected it. You are the one that, it was crazy house. I said, what is this? That was the day I had to go and look for fabric all over Ibadan. I couldn't get, because they cut another person's fabric for someone else. You can imagine. And I looked, but it shows the bad structure that is in the business. Because if they came in, the way the fabric came in, and I've already tagged it and kept it somewhere, they can't just go and carry. But there was no tag now. And I was calling on the phone, please carry Mrs. Kiniko's clothes and do Kiniko. I said, okay. And they just used the wrong fabric for the wrong person, wrong style, everything. They say, I lost that customer till today because I couldn't find the fabric. So those are little things we do in our businesses. I'm telling you from my mistakes of the past. Little things you do in your businesses that you will just be screaming. Most of us scream. You'll be screaming on the staff. Do you have to scream? If there is structure, there's no need for screaming. So let us put the right things, on ground. So who is responsible for what? Everyone in the organization should know that it captures how information flow from one level to the other. Don't let's say one software, there's nothing like that. Because you are speaking to the person in charge of what is to be done. Everybody knows their duty. The person in the front desk knows that. Even if now, you might be thinking in your mind that I'm the only one in the business and I only have one person that is helping me. Even that one person can be trained. So that when you are not there, the person is representing you properly. Madam is not here, but I can't. That's why at times your customers come, they are not confident to engage the person that is there. They say, Madam is not here. They just carry their clothes, whatever they put it in their car. I'll come back. Because you've not trained the person there to stand for you. So those are little things we need to put in. Organization structure is the life of the business. You want to go anywhere, you have to put it in. So these activities include rules, roles, responsibilities of everyone in the organization. It captures how information flows from one level to the other within the company. Task allocation, supervision, who is supervising what? Coordination towards the achievement of the organization. Some people, when they are in their organization, you just see petrol, generator will just shut down. Brrr, bam. And go and put petrol, they say, Tirepo. And there are customers sitting down that you want to attend to immediately. It has happened to me before, I'm telling you from experience. The generator just shuts down. They say, you just tell them, go and put petrol. They say, you've not bought petrol today. It's so embarrassing. So those are things that happen when you don't have structure. But the person in charge of petrol or maintenance already knows. Petrol must be bought very early in the morning, must be put in the generator. Everything is like, everything is synchronized. There is no... the customer will be happy to sit down. They are happy. The cleaner is doing a job, cleaning the window. Somebody is checking. There was a time when the cleaner cleans and I come back now, do like this. Say, And you said this cleaner cleaned today. It's from your salary that will remove. Because you're the one that you're supposed to supervise her. If you don't, I will remove the money. And she's collecting money. From then, one day I saw the sink in the loo. Very dirty. I said, and you said she has worked this morning. And the sink is like this. So you have to let them know this is at their roles. Don't just assume everybody that is there should know what they should do. No, you assign roles and duties. That is how structure works. So structure is about putting all activities in specific departments, assigning roles, both in-house and outsourced. Work procedure is clarified and communicated. Do you have a work log for every day? Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Even if you are the only one, what do you want to do, achieve this week? For us, when we come on Monday, before we go on Friday, we have discussed the work for the next week. And we have assigned everything we need, sewing material, everything is bought, so that they will not be calling me anywhere. We've not bought this, we've not bought stay, there's nothing like that. Everything is done, and we have allotted money for it. So that's what makes structure works, and you'll be at peace in the organization. So a company aiming at being at the cutting edge in the marketplace will create team structure that fosters employee innovation. If an employee is working in a place where everything is disjointed, even the employee cannot think straight. Everything is upside down. So if you need them to, be productive, then create a system that will let them work well. So areas to focus on. Put system and structures in your daily operations. Everything that happens every day when you step into your office, make sure that it's system. Even if you are the only one, start putting it. So as people join, that's what they call company culture. They come in, they begin to imbibe what they find, they meet people doing. They come in. So if your people in the company will come in the morning, they put their leg on the table and they are gisting and they eat anywhere, as you are bringing in staffs, that is how they will be doing. That's culture. So when they come in, we have an interview. Some people, when they take staffs, they don't even have an employee letter for them that this is, how much you'll be paid. This is the amount of hours you're going to work. Even though I am a one-man business, I must do that. So that there is an understanding between myself and you that you are resuming so time, your break is so time, this is how much you'll be paid, and if you don't do your work, I also tell you the repercussion of not doing your work. Let us be doing it. Let us start running our businesses like see the big picture of where you're taking the business. Don't just run because it's just you and you just have 4 people. Let all of them have, employee letters. Let's start doing that. It's very important. So put systems and structures in your daily operations. Create an employee operational manual and handbook for your staff. Who does what, when, and how it should be done. I didn't have that for many years, but eventually I created one and it brought peace. Customer service, how do you serve or take care of your customers? Let them understand that. If you treat your customers well, they will also treat them well. And you have laid rules for customers. At times, do you serve water when customers come? Do you offer them water? What are the things you put in place for them to do if you are not there? There was a day a customer called me and said she told my manager to please, she needs a bottle of malt. My managers at them refused to buy at the bottle of malt. Madam did not tell us to. The customer was really angry. And she called me and said, I beg your pardon. I'm spending almost 100,000. You can't buy me a bottle of malt. I was just begging. Emma Bino. And I called her and said, this is the reason you are here. This is the person paying my salary and your salary. Is something okay? Are you okay? I said, how much is a bottle of malt? I said, when you didn't tell us to. I said, So those are things you have when you're having meetings with your staff. I hope we also have meetings. If you are only one staff, sit together and deliberate how you grow the business. We have meetings in my company. We must sit down every week. Let us talk together so that we look at the areas that are not working. What can we do? How can we make it better? They will be happy that you are even engaging them. They are making them share their ideas, what they are thinking. Because they also have ideas. They are looking at your old system. And they also are human beings. And they are working in the place. They have ideas. Auntie, let us do this. Let us do that. They always bring ideas. And when you implement it, they are happy. They buy into your vision. Most times we work with people that do not buy into our vision. Most times when people see my manager and she leaves, they say, awesome. Where did you get that girl from? I say, I don't know. I'm always scared. I say, one day she wants to go. Because like Mr. Bash said, it's difficult to get people with character that will be loyal, that will hold the vision. They are always having second agenda, something backup agenda. They always have it. But when you see people like that she owns the business like her own, and then once I see that she has that character of owning business, I started pumping her with, giving her the tools she needs to lead the team. So that if I'm not there for 1 month, 2 months, the business will run. It should not collapse because you are not there. So put systems and structure in your daily operation. Create an employee operation. I've said that. Number 3, customer service. I've said that. So financial structure, bookkeeping and fundraising. Structure that one too. Because some of us, we still write how much you make inside one exercise book. That you'll be looking everywhere for it when you want to write. The days are gone to be doing that. Let's stop it. I asked, is there anybody here that does not have an accountant as a friend? Let me see your hand. You don't know any accountant. Lift your hand very well. You don't know any accountant. If you don't, who is that? Better bend your head because I can see you're bending your head. You don't, okay, if you don't have, see me after, I will recommend. You need an accountant to help you with simple, bookkeeping. If you can't do, everything has gone electronic now. You can just be imputing figure and to calculate itself. But let's even say you don't have that one. At least, let us stop using a big exercise book. Stop using it. If you go to Dugbe, there are books there that proper bookkeeping books, that you at least start from there. So if you get an accountant that comes in, the accountant can say, it has happened to me before. I was doing that. And then he said, bring all the books that you have. And he looked at it and helped us to reorganize. And then our accounting started making sense. I can now see that, okay, every month, this is how much we made, these are the losses, these are the areas, and he will be pointing out, oh yeah, these are the places you are, why is your money, this place, why is it leaking? What are you people doing? You're overspending on fuel. So all those questions are there. We can look at the graph and understand what we are doing. But most times, we don't have anything. Once you make money back, when you see a tombo, hey, you just put your money. Is it your money? You just put your hand inside your pocket and buy or get it. Before you go home, that 10,000 has remained 2,000 naira. And you are joking. You think you are running a business. Hobby. Yeah, it's hobby. It's not business. If you are here, you don't have an account. You don't have a, in fact, it's amazing the way we are now. A lot of business owners. There was one day they said, oh yeah, bring 5 women that for grants. I said, I was so excited. Grants. In fact, can you give me more numbers? I said, okay. In fact, they increased it to 20. For a simple grant, maybe like 200. Oh yeah, everybody said they must have a corporate account. I said, they we have now. Oh yeah, all of you. I'm telling you, I was amazed. A lot of them had personal accounts. And they have run businesses for 7 years, 5 years, 3 years. They do not have corporate accounts. And so the grants, I was just looking like this. I could not, maybe I was, at the end of the day, I only recommended 5 people. And we had 20 slots. Because they were doing business in their own way, in their mind. They think they are doing business. They don't have corporate accounts. Some are doing business, they are not registered. If you are not registered and you are doing business, you are seated here today, you are not even doing business. They don't know you. In Nigeria, under the law of Nigeria, you're not a business owner. So, go and fix it. Stop doing things anyhow. That's why most of us, when we want to travel out of Nigeria, say, bring your... You have nothing to... They will say, they didn't give me the visa. Why would they give you? You will run away. Because there's nothing to show. Money must... They taught us in school, see, you can put in your money now and withdraw, but let it go in. At the end of the month, you will be able to see what came into the account. You will not, if I've used half of it to buy elgede, yam, bogwe, it will not show in my account. It should not show in the statement. So even if you are pressed, you can put it in and withdraw. And make sure it's for something. I was telling somebody, I said, see, I buy assets. Every time I get huge amount, maybe like a grant, like I make sure I use it to tie something. There are people like me that have collected money. Ask them. Where the money they've collected for grants? They can't find it. There's no structure. I just moved my space. Somebody entered and said, where did you get all these machines from? I said, 28 years of doing business. I beg. I was always, anytime I have big money, my first mind is, I buy assets. I even got a loan from CBN, maybe like 2 years or 3 years ago. And I made sure everything I used that money to do was, so somebody also collected like me. She said, what do you use that money? I said, I bought laptop. I bought machine, all the big machine that I didn't have. She was looking at me and said, nobody told me. I said, what did you use your 5 million to do? She was just looking at me. I said, hey, you get that amount and you go and waste it on nothing. So let us put in our minds, financial structure is important. Always think how you want to invest your money. Every money invested into you, maybe like friends and family, and it's not for you to eat and buy a Ashwebi and Gilead. No. It's for you to put back, because if you are not plowing, you will have problems. You won't have capital. When the opportunity comes to do something, you won't be there. See, Mr. Ade just left there now. I'm a vendor in Foodco. All the Foodco branches in Nigeria, I'm a vendor. When I did my business, I opened a store, and I had issues with my ready-to-wear. Sales was bad. The overhead was high. I shut down the business. Because I'm going to strategy now, I needed to re-strategize and say, okay, I'm spending much, I've invested more, this thing is not bringing back what I want. I have to shut down the business. And I changed the model. I'm not going to incur any overhead expenses. So I decided that all stores that are standing already, that I have people walking in and out of them, that is where I'm going to put my ready-to-wear. And that is what I've done till today, both inside and outside Nigeria. So I do not My own is, how many percentage do you want to take off the cloth? Just take it and give me my money. And it works for me. Because I've tried the other side of, though I have a small store now, but it's small. And I told myself, I will not take a store that is up to 500,000. I won't. It's just a show. It's just a showroom. Walk in, you can still buy there, but I won't go beyond 250. I made up my mind. I learned from my lesson, and I changed the business model. So those are strategies. We are going to strategy soon. So you can't be stuck and say, this is how I'm doing this, and it's not bringing money. You have to think of how to get out of it, or else the business will die. If I was holding on to the store, because I was in Ventura Mall, I was holding on to BC, would just kill me. And then I won't be here speaking now, that will have gone. So you need to think outside the box always. What is the next step when things are not working? So I was talking about financial, whatever. So marketing and sales, you structure it. Always know, sales target. How much did we make this month? How much did you want to make? Most times you don't think. In the beginning of the year, I make ready-to-wear dresses. I must be able to have done my plan. In this year, 2022, how many of my dresses do I want to sell? Is it 2,500 or 200 and something pieces I must have an idea. That's what will guide me. So if you don't have any goal, you didn't set anything, you won't be able to know if you are doing well or not. Set goals for yourself. If all you can sell is 50 in a year or a month, set goals that this month, I want to sell 10 pieces. Next month, I want to sell 15, 20. Set goals for yourselves. That is how you do your marketing and sales. Marketing, promotions, and all that. That was the time I was doing billboard every month for 6 months. And I was paying 30,000 every month for the book. So people are saying, they'll come to me. They'll just think maybe I don't try to. It's a strategy for me. I was doing it. Say, I can see you are on the billboard and I say, you think it's visibility that I'm after. I want people to be able to, the name to stick in your mind. So it's like when you say Foodco now, it has become a family. We all know Foodco. So I want to say Datina and say, I know that brand. Because people buy only from brands they know. If you are here and I'm making clothes, nobody knows you. Then nobody will buy from you. But the more they know, the more someone will recommend that, you want to make something. I think I know. They might not have sold from you before, but they are following your progress. Say, I think I've had that referral several times. So I use, the billboard like 6 months. And then one day, I was somewhere and somebody said, come and meet Datina. I said, I know the brand. I always see their billboard ads. When they said, I said, okay, I hit the mark at least. That's one proof for me that. So my target at that point is not that I'm looking for plenty customers to come. First, the thing I want to achieve is let the name stick first. So if they're going to refer, maybe Afrocentric where they say, I know the one brand though. So on Google My Business too. That's what I'm trying to let the brand, before I'm even looking for customers, let them go know the brand first. Why they know the brand? They are the ones that will now say, refer. I think I've seen their billboards or somebody outside the country. I think several times we've gotten students like that we don't know them. They just say, I think there's a fashion school somewhere. I've seen them on Google. I've seen them on, and they come. So what are your strategies? So those are things you need to go. So we're going to strategy now. So a strategy is a plan or action designed to achieve a long-term or short-term goal. It consists of a combination of competitive moves, business approaches used to manage a company. Your business strategy must answer your what? What do you want to achieve? How do you want to achieve it? Who is going to do it with you and who are you going to do it with and why you are there? Clarifies your missions and your goals. Vision is what you want to do and your mission is how you want to do it. You cannot strategize properly if you do not clarify what you want to do and how you want to do it, and who you want to do it with, and why you want to do it. All those questions must be answered when you are working on your strategy. Who is going to work with this on me? I'm a professional I'm going to work with. Who is the person I'm going to collaborate with? How do we want to do it? That is what strategy is about. Also put in mind, vision remains the same, but the strategy to achieve it changes according to what is happening in the business landscape. So your business is static as this is what I want to do. But the strategy for getting to where you're going keeps changing, because as the landscape of the business terrain is changing, you also must adjust what you are doing to what is happening in the business. So areas to strategize, let me quickly go over it. Market positioning and brand positioning. This is very, very important. Early this year, in January, I made up my mind that I needed an IT person, because I've always had social media manager. They will collect 15,000, 10,000, but you'll be wondering that it's not converting. They're just collecting the money. I say, okay, you know what? And I sat and said, let me get not just social media, somebody that is good in IT, that can manage my website, manage my social media presence, manage everything about the business. You know, I created an office for an IT person, and I bought him. I'm telling you, I cannot even quantify what that guy has brought to the business, because I looked at my business critically and thought, okay, everything is online now, sales are online. We have to move business and stop waiting for somebody to bring in cloth every time. We need to engage, you know, people online beyond Nigeria. US, UK, we are looking at Canada and all those places. Because my own is, I'm targeting the black community in those places. That's what I'm targeting. So I told you, your job is to look for customers in all those places and put us on the, you know, important websites that we can sell our clothing. So we look for, I'm on Fashionomics, that's some, I mean, very strategic websites where sales is good. So we do research. That's the job. You should just come and do research for the company. And it's working, because it's huge, because it's an investment. It's not 15,000 naira I'm paying the IT person now. It is like about 50,000 naira every month. So, but it's a strategy. It's a strategy for me. I studied my business. At that point, what do I need? And I think this is what I need. And I put it in, and it's bringing back I can see it on my business. I mean, all the places we plugged recently and all that, we are on Flutter Waves. We just found a strategic website. I have my own website also, personal, and is managing that also, making sure we convert, customers are converted to people that will actually buy and all that. So that is what strategy does. So marketing and positioning your brand, very important. Have a strategy. How you intend to stay relevant in the market, have a strategy for your growth. How do you intend to attract and keep pleasing your customers? Number 3, make sure your internal operations are effective. We've spoken about that. Have meetings with your staff and advisory boards. Number 4, be intentional about strategizing your financial capacity. Cash is king. It's the oxygen for the business. Once your cash flow dies, the business dies. That's the end. You can't go anywhere without cash flow. Then be intentional about strategizing your financial. Sorry, I've said that. 5, market penetration. Increase your brand promotion to improve your brand image. That is another area you need to strategize. You have to be thinking about it every day. People are, in your industry, there are so many. So how do I stand out in the crowd? Market penetration. You have to think, increase your brand promotion to improve your brand image. I still went to Lagos last weekend, and I was in some shops like Foodco, other supermarkets and all that, looking for those who've been interested to stock my clothing. And I got like 2, which is a new one. And I was so excited. I called my manager and said, we got 2 new stores to stock. And we also do that for outside the country. So you need to be thinking of how you want to, penetrate all those areas. Then product development, add new features to your products, research what is trending. Like my sister said, everybody's doing Ashwebi. Don't be crazy and just be following everybody. Think of something different. That's our strategies. I started my own boxer production for men like 2 months now, yes, and it was really good. And I'm excited about it. And we also did, what else did we do? Okay. We also tried out throw pillows and all that. Try things that are different. Because everybody's doing Ashwebi, let's think outside the box. When I did the boxers, oh wow, people were all over. Are you joking? Did you, and we packaged it very neatly and nicely. We made sure we did good packaging, that if you see it, you want to buy it. So let's think. I can't say because everybody's doing Ashwebi, I should now die there. We have to keep thinking. What is next? Then I want to work for, you are making for older people. What do the younger generation want? Let there be diversity in everything we do. Don't just be one-way traffic and you'll be complaining every day. When you cannot think outside the box. Think outside the box. There are so many other things we can produce. Launch new products to enhance and don't get stocked. Study your competitor. Though my sister said we shouldn't die there on them. But why we study them is that if there are gaps that are open, you can fill the gaps. When you know that, okay, they are not going in the direction. It's like chess now. Everybody's playing. So you see gap, you put. So that's it. So you get whatever you need to get from there. Like my story I always share during COVID, I started my medical line, and it was awesome. It took us to another level completely. So study your competitors, locate the gaps. So I use my own studying of my competitors. What I do is I use my personal brand to grow my corporate brand. That is a strategy for me. So I think you should find your own, what works for you. So, it's like people buy from people, they buy from people they like. When they like you, They already like you. They will like the product. There's no. So I use my personal brand. Say, it's Tatum that is selling it. Let me try it. Moi. You know, that's how you get people. So let people like you. Then it's not just about liking you. Bless people with your gift. Bless people with your gift. I write, I counsel, I coach, I make for free. People come attend, they will spend 2 hours. It's not just talking, I know what I'm doing, it's a strategy. I am blessing them. Of course, the blessing will come back. So find your own strategy to grow your business. So when there's not the personal brand, automatic, it also helps the corporate brand to grow. So find alternative sales channel. Like I said, when I was stuck with my store, I had to close it down and start supplying stores, and I took away my overhead. Collaborate and find strategic partnership. Nobody does anything alone anymore. Like now, Foodco, they are my partners. I'm collaborating to sell my products. So find ways by which you can move what you are doing forward. If somebody has strong in a particular area and you are not, it's a strategy. Collaborate with that person to do what you want to do. Number 10, choose your targeted growth plan. You must know what you want to do every month, quarterly, yearly. It must be well written out. Growth of your employee is also important. Invest in your employees. Make sure they are also growing. If you are going for training as a leader and your workers are not growing, the business cannot grow. As you are growing self-development, make sure they are also growing. Very important. Find new geographical location like my sister did, venturing into the UK. Add new products, growth in revenue, profit, growth, your customer base. If you have 10 customers, how can you make them 50? That's what you should be thinking of every day and strategizing in that area. So 11, which is the last one, choose your mentors and coaches and business models correctly. She also said it. We can't go anywhere without such people. We need them because they've been ahead of us and they always show us the way to go. So let's find, mentors that fit into our journey, coaches and business models. At times, it's not mentors is based on relationship. Coaches, at times, you need to pay. Don't be afraid to pay. If they say come and pay to learn. 6 weeks training on yourself to learn how to run your business is not a waste. Learn it so that your life will be better. I've taken several trainings for my coaches and I've paid for them, some 200, 250,000, and it has made my life better. So your greatest strategy for your business is to constantly set growth goals and create a solid growth plan for your business. You must be clear of why you are in the business in the first place, what problem you are there to solve, and how you intend to solve it, and who you intend to solve it for. Ability to answer all these questions will make it easy for you to strategize your business growth and scale your business with ease. So those are things you need to answer. Why am I doing what I'm doing, and who do I want to do it? Who do I want to solve this problem for? When you are clear about that, and like Mr. Bash says, create a value proposition around it and work towards strategize. This is what I want to do. There are different ways of entering into a market. How can I do this? It's not working. Find another way. It's not working. You find one that will work. God bless every one of us. Amen.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you so much. One word that came to my mind was overdose. She was loaded. I'm sure if we had given her another 30 minutes to 1 hour, she would continue vibrating. Thank you so much, Ma. We really appreciate it. Let's have our seat. I just have a few announcements at this time, and then we'll go for our networking session. There are 3 businesses that are giving us offers, so please listen very well. Hill City Business Solutions. They do corporate trainings, business registration, business advisory, and also accounting services. So they are saying that any business making a commitment for CAC business registration, that's Corporate Affairs Commission. If you want to register your business legally with the Nigerian government, if you are making a commitment with them today from this program, they are offering a 10% discount from their services. They have a stand outside, so please, during the networking section, take advantage of this offer. Please meet with them and enjoy that discount. There's another business here, Effective Touch. Effective Touch. They do event planning, event ushering, event coordination, VIP hospitality, and a host of other things. They're also saying that between June to August 2022, if you contact them today and get their details today, if you have any event between June and August this year, you'll get 20% off their services. So please, they have a stand outside during the networking session. meet with them, register your intent, get their contact details so that you can enjoy these discounts. And finally, we have Rejoice Place Supermarket. For every purchase of juice or parfait or fruit salad from their stand today, they're also giving a 10% discount. So please, when we go out for networking session, let's avail ourselves of this opportunity. And I can tell you, their stuff are very good. So please enjoy that. Now, 3 things that we will do during the networking session. Everybody, please take note of these 3 things that you must do. The session is going to take 12 minutes. 12 minutes. During those 12 minutes, you must participate in 3 things. 1, you need to meet people. And before you come back, you need to meet at least 2 people that will end up becoming either a business partner, a supplier, a customer, or somebody that you can do stuff with later. So it's not just, oh, I met 2 people, I know her name is Uche, or his name is Laide, and that's all. Know what they do, and see where you can connect. I'm sure there are people here that we can do stuff together. Maybe I am the customer or the supplier that you've been waiting for. So let's meet ourselves. And I will advise us that when we do this, beyond just saying my name is Dari, I think the next question you should ask is, what do you do? And if somebody asks you, what do you do? Please tell them what's special about your service. Don't just say, I'm a tailor. Tell them what stands you apart, and then I can know where to connect with you. The second thing that I want every one of us to do is that we have a refreshment stand outside. So please, during this break, avail yourself of the opportunity of getting some of the refreshments, courtesy HRDM. They are for free. That's aside the ones that are for sale out there. And then finally, take this opportunity to also stretch, get yourself ready, such that when we come back, the next session is going to be our panel discussion session. We have a few questions, about 5 questions that we have prepared before now, and most of the other questions we're going to take are going to be from us. Coach Smith just finished that session. We couldn't take any questions. When she had her section, we only took 2 questions, and there were more questions out there. So during the next session, we'll have the opportunity to ask all our questions, get clarifications, and then we'll close after that. So thank you, everybody. See you in 12 minutes.
What can't you do? What won't you do? Nothing impossible. Nothing impossible. What can't you do? What won't you do? Nothing impossible. Not fail. What is hard for you to do? It doesn't exist. It can never ever exist. You do not lie. You do not fail. What is hard for you to do? It doesn't exist. It can never ever exist. According to your knowledge and your will for me, what you say you have done, I just need to align. No, because you are not a man that changes your mind. Oh, those that know you will trust in you, not in horses and chariots. By the arm of flesh, no man can prevail. No man, no man, no man, no man. My confidence is you. What is hard? What is hard for you? It can never exist. Oh, you do not lie. You do not fail. What is hard for you to do? It doesn't exist. Oh, it can never ever exist. Oh, you do not lie. You do not fail. What is hard for you to do? To do? It can never ever exist. Oh, those I know you will trust in you, not in horses and chariots, but an arm of flesh. No man can prevail. Ask Abraham and Sarah, I'm a woman with the issue of won't you do? What won't you do? Nothing impossible. Nothing impossible. What can't you do? What won't you do? Nothing impossible with our God. You do not lie, you do not fail. What is happening?
There is a place that I love to dwell.
What can't you do? What won't you do? Nothing impossible. Nothing impossible. What can't you do? What won't you do? Nothing impossible with our God. You do not lie, you do not fail. What is hard for you to do? It doesn't exist yet. It can never ever exist. You do not lie, you do not fail. What is hard for you to do? It doesn't exist. It can never ever exist. According to your knowledge and your will for me, what you say you have done, I just need to align, no. Because you are not a man that changes your mind, oh. Those that know you will trust in you, not in horses and chariots. By the arm of flesh, no man can prevail. No man, no man, no man, no man. My confidence is you. What is hard? What is hard for you? It can never exist. Oh, you do not lie, you do not fail. What is hard for you to do? It doesn't exist. Oh, it can never ever exist. Oh, you do not lie, you do not fail. What is hard for you to do? To do? It can never ever exist. Oh, those I know you will trust in you, not in horses and chariots. By the arm of flesh, no man can prevail. Ask Abraham and Sarah, and the woman with the issue of blood. Oh, nothing hard for you. Ask Mama Hannah, oh, blind Bartimaeus, make you go as the Israelites. Absolutely nothing hard for you. No man, no man, no man. My confidence is you. What is hard? What is hard for you? It can never exist. Oh, you do not lie. Oh,
You may need to move it
Closer.
very closer because it's not coming out well.
Yeah, 3. I was going to say this is my first time playing this, but I now remember. It's not the first time. I remember that there was a time that we started. Please, let's come together. Okay, we'll do this. The last 10 people to get to their seats, we're going to find them 1,000 naira each. The last 10 people to get to their seats, we're going to find them 1,000 naira each. If I find Pastor Tolu, I'll be the one to pay the fine myself. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. So before I introduce our speakers back, I'd like to take this very short announcement. NXT Audios. NXT Audios, it's a studio, it's a recording studio. They are also here, and they are giving us an offer again. They're saying for those of us who are writers, you are an author, you are into poetry, or you write stuff, or you're a minister, if you want to record or produce audiobooks, recording and production of audiobooks, they are offering a 20% discount on your work. So if you have an audiobook project, NXT Audios are available. You can get the audios on iTunes, on AudioMac, on Deezer, on YouTube Music. So they can put your audiobook on all these platforms. So if you are interested, please, you can see me after the session, or you can see Brother Michael, the head of ministry for choir. Yeah, please. You can do that. Awesome. So right now, I want to invite our speakers back. We're having a panel discussion session. Mostly what we've done today is to hear from them, and they've unloaded a lot of stuff on us. A lot of us have questions. Some of us have things that we want to clarify. And even some of our speakers, there are areas that they would have wanted to go a little bit deeper in, but for the sake of time, they could not do that. So I'm going to be inviting them to the stage one after the other again to come and take us further on some of this stuff we have heard. I would also like to encourage us, if you have a question, maybe during the course of today's event, maybe something they did not touch on, or something that was not so clear, or maybe for some reason you switched off and you didn't hear that part properly, and you would like them to repeat or rehash it. You can put your questions down on a sheet of paper if you have one, and pass it to us. But if you don't have one, we'll also allow you to raise up your hands, and we will bring the microphone to you. So please, I want you to put your hands together right now as we welcome our 3 panelists again to the stage, Mr. Adefarasin, Coach Smith, and our sister. Yes, please, let's put our hands together for them as they come up to the stage and take their seats here. Okay. Okay, awesome. Okay. Yes, please. Thank you very much. So again, if you have questions, you can put them down and pass it to us, or you can just signify, we'll note you, and then we'll bring the mic to you so that you can ask your question. So I have a few questions here that we've prepared in the course of today's event. We will ask those questions, and then we will continue from there. We have mics here also. Yeah. So the first question will go to Mr. Adefarasi. And the question is business or entrepreneurship, is it for everybody? Can all of us be business owners?
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
I think we're in church. We can say praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Okay, so if you are saying praise the Lord, praise the Lord. All righty. Is business or entrepreneurship for everybody? Of course, the answer is no. Not everybody will do well in business. The same way, not everybody is cut out for a 9-to-5, what we call the 9-to-5 job. I mean, some people are as restless and productive like my two CEOs here, and I'm not so sure any employer can cage them. But there are some that they perform better under the 9-to-5 environment. But how do you tell yourself whether you are cut out for business or not? I'll say information is key. But scratch that. The right information is the key. Because there's a lot of information out there. Everybody has ideas nowadays. If you want to talk about any business, somebody has an idea, no matter how it is. But don't just be looking at it from the angle of anybody. I give an illustration. There's a place of knowledge, there's a place of experience, and there's a place of expertise. Knowledge is, I know about it. And it reminded me of when I was quite young, I tried learning how to fight judo. I never got around it. I read about it, I know the rudiments, how to kick, how to do it, but that was all I had. There are some people now have the experience, they've gone deeper, they get belts. And now we have the experts, the black belters and co. If you have to talk to any of those three, if any of those three were to advise you on how or whether to go into business, should it be the person that have the knowledge, or the person that have the experience, or the person that is an expert in the field? So summarily, I would definitely say, yes, you should talk to the expert. If before you know whether you are cut out for business, sit down, count the cost. I think the Bible says in Luke chapter 14, that who is that man that builds a house? Who doesn't sit down first and count the cost? What do we need to build a house? Or who is that king that goes into battle? Who doesn't check first that I have 10,000 soldiers, I'm going to face 20,000, how do we go about it? So the first thing first, sit down, count the cost. Like my sister said during the presentation, our presentation, you need to be able to know what it takes to go into the business. Do you have it? If you don't have it, don't bother, go ahead. You need to know whether you have the understanding for it. Do you understand the field? It's not enough that we make a lot of, how do I put it now? We make a lot of mistakes by saying, and everybody is running into it. By the way, are you cut out for it? Do you have what it takes? And what are the things that you need to have? Do you have the passion to provide the solution to the problem? When Mr. Adebashi was speaking, he was talking about meeting needs. I'll always say to entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs, can you identify a problem? If you can, do you have the solution? If you don't have a solution, then you are not into that business. It's not just enough for you to identify it. There's a lot of problem. Yes, but do you have a solution? But scratch that. Don't just stop at you having the solution. Can you provide the solution profitably? There are two words we confuse for each other. We confuse the word effectiveness and efficiency for each other. Effectiveness is when you can do a task very well. Efficiency is when you can do it profitably. You can do it and you bring results, not just effective. When you're effective, yes, you get results. But how well is that result? Could you have gotten that result at a cheaper price? Could you have gotten that result in a much more civilized way with less stress? That's efficiency. Now ask yourself, am I efficient in that area of business? If you can answer, tick the box here. Yes, I have been able to identify the problem. Yes, I have the solution to provide. Yes, I've been able to see that I can do it efficiently. And how do you do it efficiently? Coach Chinu was very magnanimous in trying to break down to us that you need to understand the role of accounting. You need to understand your books. You know, it's very funny when I visit business owners. Ekpe Shegoma, Okpe Timori, Bola, Walora Malawa, Mowo Nungba. How many of us are business owners here? We do it. I mean, the last session we had online, I remember that I stressed and emphasized to people that as a business owner, you need to pay yourself salary. And you must spend only from your salary, not from your business resource. So, back to what we were saying, you need to understand the role of accounting. You have your proper books. That way you'll be able to identify, yes, can I run this business profitably? If you can answer pretty 80%, even 80% I'm okay with that, then I'll say yes, you are cut out for business.
Thank you very much. So the next question is to Mrs. Odbanjo. You mentioned something along the line when you were presenting, that sometimes you look at your students or people around you and you say, man, this line is not for you, go into this. So what are the things you see that makes you know, oh, I'm not cut out for this business. Maybe I should try my hands at something else. Because people get involved in businesses that they are not really cut out for, and they get frustrated. They cannot generate passion. They are not seeing results. They are burning cash every day, and it just leads to frustration all around. So how do you know I'm not cut out for this business? What are the signs you see so that we can learn from that?
Okay. Amen.
Amen.
Let me go straight. Like, if I look at my students and I tell them, you're not cut out for this, that happens because I've interacted with them for probably a couple of weeks, few months, and I've seen their personality. And probably I think, you are slow at this, you're good at this, do this or do that. But let me bring it to my personal life now. I'm the kind of person that wants to do, if possible, 100 things. When I was young, you asked me, what do you want to be? A doctor, a nurse, soldier, photographer, DJ, everything. I wanted to be everything. It's just so silly. Well, excuse me. When you enter your field, it's okay to try different things. Let's be real now. Try your hands on different things if you are not sure. There was a time I went to learn makeup. I can't draw brow to save my life. If they are drawing brow for competition, Auntie Moti Godo, they draw. But I discovered that I like makeup, but it wasn't working for me. And that's the problem business owners make. If it's not working for you, but you know in your inside you, sometimes we don't need prayers though. It's not about going to church or fasting and prayer. You know that you cannot do this thing. It's like telling my little boy that came in here now to jump from here down. We know he can't, and he knows he can't. He just gets injured. But for the sake of maybe you want to pull clout or you want to belong, and the streets of Instagram is not helping people. What Shade is doing, you want to do it. Do you know what Shade is really doing? Let's be real now. Some of these people are putting up a facade. What you're seeing is not what they are doing. And you follow them like that. Olente Lake, Nikon. By the time you enter ditch, they have gone because what you are seeing is they put something up, they are fronting for something else. When you enter a field and it's looking like your leg is shaking, look for something else. I tried makeup. I was doing fashion, but I went into makeup and I saw that in you, Joe, I left it. So if it doesn't work for you and you feel like your mind, if you love your job, a business, you will dream about it. Ask any business owner. You dream, you sleep, you drink your business. You are working. I'm watching movie. What I'm saying is clothes. I can watch, everybody who knows me, I can watch a movie 100 times over because I'm not hearing what they are saying. I'm saying something else or I'm learning something else. So these things are always there. Is it for you? Do you want to do this kind of business? Which one is for me? If you have tried it. So if you want, for those who want to try. I cook well, very well, but I won't be a caterer because me only suru catering. That's the truth, but my work boring me. I'll not put my head into that Auntie Tinu has made 10 million in catering. Let me also do catering. Do I know the grace she carries? Sometimes the grace is even different, so forget experience. So let's drop that for now.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay, so I would like to add to this that thank God this is a Christian gathering. I strongly believe that God has wired everybody with a gifting. There's something inside of you that when God created you has wired you. And that wiring has a way of, attracting. There is a way you're attracted to a particular thing. Like she said, I hate the market. Up till now, I don't go to the market. I hate catering. I cannot think. So I want to share, I'll just quickly say, how did I enter into fashion in the first place? My mom was a fashion designer, but that was not, I didn't even think I wanted to do that. I loved the camera. I read communication and language arts. That's what I read. And I wanted to be either work in the TV or a print journalist, something like that. I like writing. Those are my natural gifting. Then one day, when I finished my service and I came to Ibadan because I studied in Lorry, and then I don't know how God did it. The BQ of the person I was living in was a fashion designer. So God just orchestrated the whole thing. So when I came, I said, and I was thinking in my mind that let me pick up a skill. Let me just learn something so that I will not just be wasting my time while I'm doing my service here. Entrepreneurship is not even popular. I was talking about the 90s. So I just said, let me pick it up and then I had a dream and I saw a class full of people sewing. And then I saw an empty seat. As I wanted to enter the classroom, the teacher just looked at me and said, he spoke in Yoruba. Okay? Oh, ti mono atila. Toba money, oh, ni ma fori jagbo kiri. Just gave me one. Just go and sit down. And I sluggishly went and I just woke up. When I woke up, I said, tailoring was not popular. Money tailor. Me, I wanted to be in front of the camera. I wanted to be a broadcaster and all that. So, that dream it was on my mind for a long time. And God put me in the BQ of in fact, everybody knows that in Ibadan, cute courts. God puts me in a BQ. Do you see God, the way God works? And so I started going to her place to just go and play. And I made up, okay, let me just learn this thing. Now, so play become real low. That was 30-something years ago. So I'm saying, at times, some people love children. You just love children. And whatever it is God has wired into you is in that direction. Some people just love to beautify places. When they enter a place and they just see, like all these event decorators, it's like the place they just want to rearrange the place. Or your own space, you're always rearranging it like 10 times in a month. Something, you should look inwards and say, there's something about it. Because our giftings, at times the things you think God will use to make you big might not even be what you are looking at. You might think, maybe some people is singing. They don't know, but they are doing 9 to 5. They are still doing 9 to 5. And where God wants them to be is actually music. So we need to connect with God. What I'm trying to say is He has the blueprint of our life in His hands. And though this is a business gathering, but I strongly believe if we talk to God about it and say, give me a direction on where to go about, you can't miss it. Once you get it right, but people I just laugh when people they don't know where I'm coming from. This one is a God-given gift. It's not because I just woke up and it's God-given. So it's effortless. So when God gives you something that is your own, it's effortless. So people can talk for Africa. They won't know that talking is where they will eat. Yeah. And they make money, big money from just talking. TV Fela Toye, 1 hour talk, do you know how much is earning? Just to stand up, what I've just done today here. If they would have paid him like 2 million for talking. You can imagine. But when he was younger, I'm sure when he's talking, his mother would say, but did you know, most times, some of us are seated here, we have not even discovered purpose. We are still running after something that is not really, it's peanuts. It's not really bringing the big deal. this my fashion, it has taken me everywhere. I have gotten grants, big money from it. But I know why it is easy is because it is my calling. So I don't see it as I'm just making money. And God has used it to help me to build lives. I've met girls that are, in hotels, and I've used this same business to empower them, to make them find purpose and become somebody. So it's a tool in my hands, not just to make money, to also build lives. So your calling and your vocational can become a ministry in a way, and you still make money from it. So what I'm saying is that whatever you are doing and it's not bringing money, you have to think twice. Because if God actually gives you the gift, so maybe the only thing you need now is knowledge. If you have the gift and you don't have knowledge, skill that's one you could see, knowledge to add to it. I too was there, I was just going in circles. When I put knowledge, it was like fire to dry, it just started burning. So what I'm saying is that every one of us seated there, if you're still in and out of, you tried like 5 businesses, try catering, then you haven't found the real thing. It's time to look up and ask God, what am I here? Why on earth am I here? Find that purpose. When you find it, you will find joy. There were years I didn't make money from fashion, but I was happy clothing people. The joy was there. When I see people wear clothes, I'll be happy. And eventually, money started coming when I added knowledge to the skill. So you are seated there this afternoon. I want you to talk to God about it. That God, I have tried like 5 businesses, so everything is not working. Which one do you want? And God will, something in your heart will open up and you will know exactly what goes. So because I don't like people just trying, you are just wasting money. You do this one, you close it down. Do this one, you close it down. How long do we want to do that? We are wasting resources. So we can get it right by just talking to God and praying about it, that God, direct me. It might be somebody else that will counsel me or coach me or show me the way to go. Or I could read a book. God speaks in diverse ways. Read a book, and from there is a lady that started waste. She's in this theater. What's her name? Jumoke Oluokere. It was a book. She just went to a place. She was teaching a teacher. Went to a book and just took out a book and she started reading the book. Do you know that's how she started a waste? What do they call that? That recycling. And even the ambassador of American body has been to her waste museum in Ibadan. And it was just within the space of 3 years. She has been teaching forever. But one day, God met her. So I think that's the point we all need to be. Let us find exactly what God wants us to do and do it. Then the struggle will be over. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma. So I'm still going to stay with you. You spoke a lot about structures, about business models and all. And I'm so happy that we have 2 people on this panel who are in exactly the same industry, but their business models are different. So how do you determine the business model that is right for you? Such that 20 of us might be in the same industry, but it does not necessarily mean that we are competing because really we are focused on different areas. So how do I determine which is the best business model or which is the right business model for me to go into? How much impact or influence does my background, the people I have access to, the people I talk to, my experiences, how much influence does those things have on the kind of business model I choose for my business? Yes.
Okay, so I believe that every association we have in life is not by chance. Everybody that comes our path, there is a reason for it, whether mentors, whether coaches, whether, in the industry. So then she also said something that within what you are doing, how do you know when this is the area you should be, everybody is doing Asoebi. Do I have to do Asoebi? So it's a matter of discovering my personal flair within that industry. What am I caught out to do? And then it has to do with my value proposition and the problem I want to solve. So I'm not really an Asoebi person. I am sorry. It's not. I do it if they bring it, but that's not me. What I want to do is I want to provide clothing that is comfortable, that is easy, that can be found conveniently by everybody. Like what Mr. Ade said, like they are having food court everywhere so that there is convenience. They want to make it convenient people to be able to, buy whatever they want to buy at the convenience of their home, wherever they are in their neighborhood. So for me, I don't want somebody to travel from. I have a website now where I sell my clothing, where people can order from anywhere and to deliver. We use DHL to deliver to them. So that's one of my strong points, is convenience. And I want to make things that are simple, not necessarily beaded things that everything will now look like. That's not my flair. And from the scratch, I knew that was me. I like simple things that are elegant, that are, easy wear, not necessarily something heavy. But there's some people, they can't sew like this woman that everybody's following on Instagram. Illuminia, what's her name? She can make, like, if I can't when I look at some, I'll just be laughing. That what is this one now? Where would they wear the bone? I want something wearable that people can wear as a daily wear, everyday wear. I don't want to do all those dramatic something. You know, when I started my business, I used wrong way to do visibility. I would do any wrong way they call me because I wanted the brand to be known. So I will spend money, but now when they call me, I say wrong way. I know they do wrong way. Now I know what I'm cut out for. I don't do wrong ways again because I've used it initially as a strategy for the business to be known. So everywhere there's wrong way, I'm showing up there, they know the brand. After a while, I just say, I'm not cut out for all this wrong way stuff. I want to do my ready to wear. I'm okay with that. So people, and I can clothe from everywhere in the world. They don't have to see me wear my products. They don't have to walk into my space to wear my product. And simple pieces that doesn't, So everybody needs to decide that. If not, if I want to do what Illumini is doing, I'll probably my table Ben because that's not my area. It's true. So we all have to know our areas, what that we are passionate about. You can see two people running NGO. We both want to reach out to women, but what we want to reach out to women for are different. I am excited when I see women empowered. They have money. They are not complaining. So my own is financial inclusion for women. I want to see women empowered. But some people want to see them, like I have a sister here. She's teaching women how to use technology to drive their businesses. Bumifa Jibe, we know she learns there. That's what she does. We are both reaching out to women, but in different ways. So everybody should be to understand why they are doing what they are doing and what is it we want to achieve. Me, I want them to have money. Let them be able to, stop feeling that I don't want to hear it around me. We can raise money. And I made sure women around me can raise money together. We have money as we are standing. If you have 50K, I have 50K, all of us, 500, bring money. Do you know how much you will raise? That's the idea. So, and then we give it to you this month. You go and use it. Next month, everybody bring. You go and use it. Before we know it, by the time you are using your own money, you have already bought all the things you need to buy, everything. You are out of the system, then you can. So that's how we've been doing it for years, 3 years now. So I'm passionate. When I see them laugh and smile and their eyes sparkle, I'm happy. So everybody should find their own area. We can be sent to the same thing, but differently. So find what you are passionate about. In your industry, find what you are passionate. If your own is to be packaging soup, if you are a caterer, stay with the soup. Don't go and start doing catering in parties. If you need to satisfy a customer and everything. So stay within that. If it's your own open restaurant like all these eateries, just know what it is you want to do and stay in it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So what I'm hearing is for us to choose our business model, our market segmentation, we need to first look at ourselves. What do I have capacity for? What do I have interest in? Who do I have access to, for instance? I imagine if I want to go into, I probably might not have access to the kind of people you have access to, and I want to start a fashion house. I want to be selling my clothes at 100K. I don't have one friend who has ever bought clothes beyond 5,000 naira before, and I want to be selling my clothes at 100K. I've failed before I started. So basically, who do I have access to? Then I should position myself to satisfy those kinds of people. Thank you very much. I'm coming back to you, Mr. Olubanjo, because you want to say something about that? Yes.
Okay. You said something that's very instructive. Your target market goes a long way in addressing your business model. If your target market are the youthful, the very customer service induced market, the way you operate is going to be different. If your target market are those that need some level of deep service, it's going to determine how you structure from your gate man to the last man in the back office. If everything you do, in marketing, we say marketing starts and ends with the customer. But beyond that, the operation of the business itself starts and ends with the customer. What does the customer want? That's how we determine how you model your operation. If you are going to be doing online or you're going to be doing face-to-face type of service provision or marketing. A very good example, ShopRite was doing very well around the country. Then some guys came around and they said they wanted to do some form of retailing outfit too. They looked for a type of segment of the market that do not have the time to go to the store. The likes of Jumia, the likes of Konga, what do they need to do? Create an app, bridge the gap between the seller and the buyer. They don't really need to own the store, but they have offered the same service ShopRite will offer to you. They look for that segment of the market, they focused on it. So what you want to, the question to the business owner seated here is, who are your target market? Who are the people you want to service? Who are the people you want to make provision of your product to, or how do I put it? Then create your expertise, create your work operations around meeting their needs. Speak their language, offer the services in the language they will hear you, and they will support you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So for married men here, there's a task I do that sometimes I find very frustrating. And if you have ever done that task and you are married here, you can support me. You know, sometimes there are some kaftans or some dresses that your wife wants to wear, and somehow they cannot zip it behind by themselves, and they are looking for you all over the house to come and draw. That thing can frustrate my life. Unfortunately, I now discovered over time that in the course of doing that, there is a flap behind the zip that usually gets stuck in the zip sometimes, and then you have to go back down, and then come up again, and then it gets stuck, and then you go back down, and then you are trying to, it gets frustrating. And one day I was like, can't you tell your tailors to just, tack that flap, just tack it down so that it doesn't come back and get stuck again. My question, how do we manage quality management? How do we work quality management into our businesses? So that, stuff like that, every man I know, and so many people that are women that I know are frustrated about this. And we keep seeing it over and over again in output from our dressmakers and tailors. And that's just one industry. We can go to vulcanizers and there's the same horror story. How do we get quality into our output? Because you talked a lot about service. So how do we ensure that, what is going out of my store, what is going out of my business, this quality will speak for itself when it gets there?
Okay. First of all, that zip thing, Abba now, get used to it. It's love. But I'll just say that it depends on who's sewing for you. Some people don't use that method to sew again. And there are some things you sew, and that they will, jeans get stuck too. So some things we call flap or somehow it will say have to be there. But that's not the question right now. The question is, sorry. Excuse me, you talked about quality of what we offer. I took quality for granted at a point in my business when I was just sewing. And if there's anything I fight my workers for, they know that I will tell them, there's a particular girl that works with me. She is good. Tell her to sew anything until she will create. Finishing the problem on mine. Oh God, she does not have good finishing. And I told her, I said, okay, what are the kind of customers you want to be sewing for? Are they in Berry or Bodija? Because if they're in Bodija and Lubosa, you are not looking for them. But if it's OJ, Yano, Orita, something, you get them. So quality is something that personally you have to sit down, look into. Okay, let me give this example. This show that I was taking clothes for then in the UK, and people were taking it. So one day the organizer called me and he spoke harshly. What he said was, DGV, do you want to grow? I was like, sir, but he said, but what you are sending doesn't look like you want to leave Nigeria. Looks like you are comfortable. It was a very harsh talk, and I was annoyed. I was angry. Sometimes truth is bitter. It's a bitter pill to swallow. I was very angry. And I said, sir, can you send the clothes back? I was just lucky. I think the prayers of my generation, my forefathers, it worked for me that day. Because everyone was supposed to cut that tie. He said, I'm not angry with you. I know your potential. Just dig in and do it. And he said it's because if you don't do it well now, when it's time to pay for these things, people will not pay. Because your name is already here. People know you. But if they are looking at, our work is good, but there's still... I know Auntie knows this thing. How do people sew and leave threads on? That thing, I will tell my students, I said, let trade be ill to you. Let it be irritating. When you see things that are not perfectly finished, let it irritate you. Because you go to stores, the first rule in the class is, if you cannot buy it, don't submit it to me. If you cannot walk into a store and buy your project, then it is bad. I don't have to tell you it is not good. You can see. Since you cannot eat spelt egg or spelt meat, why are you submitting bad work to me? So when the man told me that thing that time, I looked at the work and I said, okay, I'll do it well. When I did it well, and people were now demanding, yesterday, I don't know if you have gotten some mails, and you see the highlights, and you're like, hey, you're too happy to open it, or well, you're dancing. Like 2 people were supposed to bid for a particular thing, and I was the only black person there. And this bidding is like, people will pay to wear your clothes, but they have to select you. You know, in that kind of a situation, you don't really have a say, because like you said, it has to do with, do they know you enough to accept you? Forget works and the relationship matters. So I didn't really push that thing. Like, Talo Mommy was on that kind of a level. I started getting emails. I want to work with you. I said, okay, it's getting there. And one of them said, I chose you because someone said your work worth much more than whatever we are paying for it, so I'm going for it. So how did I get there? I paid attention to every single thing. And my key is, if I cannot buy it in the store myself, you said it now, if you're putting 100K, like Mr. Basharon said, someone sold 50K kaftan, if it's one for 50K, there are kaftans of 300K. Yeah, they sell it. But the day you buy it, and your customer sees that cloth, and he feels, what did I buy? You have lost not just one customer, you have lost a line, a chain of clients. But if Auntie sells one thing to me and it's lovely, I won't just patronize her. Or if I come to her store and I can't pay for what she's selling, you know what I'll go, when I meet you, I will say, oh, she has what you want. Because she's your kind of person. If her clothes are probably in dollars and she's selling them for $1,700, I know I earn Naira, I don't want to koja yemi. But I'll look for people that are earning dollars all around. Oh, she has your stuff. But if they buy and they don't have quality there, that's why she put a lot of things into structure and he said, do this and do this. So personally, quality is a thing that if a business owner is not keen into that thing, you don't want to pass your level, you just want to be there. Nobody, just our kind of shere wale customer, shere wale and shere out. God help us.
Thank you very much. So the last question from me to Mr. Adefarasi. We say this in this part of Nigeria, that money is the vehicle that the gospel rides on, to get propagated. Yeah, you might have the best ideas in the world, but you need to fund it to start it. So how do I fund that my idea? Or my business I have some traction, I've started for a while. How do I fund the next level of my business?
Okay. For me, I will say before you even think about funding, the 3 speakers that have spoken to you today, go over all what they've spoken about and confirm you can tick the box. Because that will determine the success of your business. When you get money for business, it's not like Mugbasho, Mubaje. There are a lot of things, there are a lot of implications to it. Some of it are legal. Apart from the legal part, the most important risk I value most is reputation. Above anything, reputation is key. A lot of us, while growing up, they tell you your good name is more important than the millions of dollars. Because that good name can speak for you when you are not there. Your quality is your first advert. When your job is good, a lot of people will speak to it. Yes. So let's first of all tick those boxes and be sure we are fine. Which includes you have a proper account. I was very excited when Coutinho was talking about businesses that are not even registered, not to talk of having a bank account. So how do we assess you? What business plan do you want to present? How do we analyze your business when you don't even have a record? So the first thing I would say before we even think of funding is, what is your identity? What's your identity? Do you have a business registered? Do you have an account? Do you have a record? Now, if you are a startup, you don't have an account yet or something, have you done a projection? Do you have a budget? Yes, I'm going to start the business of supplies of shoes to the military. I'm just trying to bring out something from my head. Have I sat down to find out the costs? What is the quality they want? Do they want imported ones, or they will get it from my brother from Ariara Markets in Naba? Can they give me the same quality? Do I have all those things well written? Yes, if I have been able to check that, then we go to the next stage of actually getting the money. There are different ways of getting funding for a business. The first and the easiest way is what they call personal or self-funding, your savings. And Yoruba says, "Eleru lo ma ngberu e, nibi to ti wuwo." And in credit, there's a very fundamental part of credit for those of us that have an understanding of banking. There's a C, we call something 5 C's of credit. That has evolved now. We have 7 C's. The 5 C's as we have capital, collateral, character, commitment, and all that. That now evolved to the 7. The 7th one is very, very funny, which is common sense. Does it make sense for me to lend to this person? I can see you. You have come to my office. You want to borrow money. You want to borrow 1 million naira. You came in and you are driving maybe a Lexus Jeep, a G-Wagon. Your iPhone is iPhone 13 Pro Max. No, maybe yours is still 12. Okay, this one, when you get this low, no matter upgrades, yeah, iPhone 13. So that's common sense. So all these things, that's the beginning. So the first one is your personal money. The next one is, if your personal money is not working, family and friends, what we call OPP, other people's money. OPM, sorry, other people's money. Family and friends. People that know you, that know what you stand for. That leads me back to the quality of your job. Can people trust you? Can people trust your job? Can people trust that if I give you the money, based on what you have started with, you're still part of what Mr. Ade talked about, character. What character are you exhuming? That's why I say we need to go and digest our first 3 speakers and tick the boxes they have first. What character do you have? Can people trust you with it? Okay, that is still not enough. We can go the structured way. There's something we call angel investors. There are people that will just look at you and say, I like what you're doing. I like the plan of your business plan. You've been able to draw a good business plan. I can invest in your business. They can either do it for 2 purposes. Either they will say, I'm giving you as a loan, or for an equity, or what we call a stake in your business. I'd rather advise you, when you find yourself in that juncture of options, go for the loan. Reason being is, you can pay him back and he can go. Your business is worth 10 million naira today. If you give him equity and your business you give him 10% equity, 10% of 10 million is 1 million naira. Today, your business is 10 million naira. 2 years down the line, that 10 million naira is now 2 billion naira. Guess what? The guy has 10% of 2 billion. So in most cases, I always advise, go for the loan option. It's better for you than equity. However, there might be cases you might need to go for equity. Maybe in your case, you have the experience, you have the expertise, and you have somebody who has the money. We call them the money bag in business. They just want to invest and partner with you. Seek a good understanding. Document and legalize your agreement. There's no trust in business. Somebody says something, when we were talking, it was when Cochini was talking about strategy. And you remember, one of my boss usually says, hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy. So I trust you. It's okay. It is not a strategy. Put everything, listen to the details, put the details down in the partnership. Now, I've been able to talk about the lending factors from individuals and all that. Then you might now need to look for, I was so appreciative of the fact that we were talking about grants. Ladies and gentlemen sitting out there are a whole lot of grants out there that you can access. Whole lot. Information is key, I started with, but the right information is the key. Just, you have your smartphones. Let's get smart with our smartphone. Just Google it. Just type grants for so businesses in Nigeria. You will see a whole lot. Is it from Tony Lumilelu Foundation or from the USAID? There are different levels of grant options. Just check on Google. You will see that you can access. And to cut that short, the Central Bank of Nigeria has a lot of offerings as well for different people in different sectors. Find out if you qualify based on the sector. There's something we call the Anchor Borrowers Scheme. Some of it are zero interest paying, no interest paying, and some are single digits interest, 9%. Can you imagine in an economy that now if you go to a commercial bank, loan is about, interest rate is like about 27, 30, 36% in some cases. And somebody is offering you a 9% loan as long as your industry qualifies for that type of service. And guess what? There's that common loud noise that I hear. People say, it doesn't work. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to announce to you, it works. I know beneficiaries of these things and are people who don't know anybody, all by applying. So all you need to do is to seek for that information and you will get it. The next set of people, that sources that you can get your finances from, we call something venture capitalists. They are registered organizations that you can go to and show your business plan and show that these are my projections, these are some. It's like, how many of us watch the Next Titans, right? The business program. If you don't, try and get to see it on, I think it's on DSTV. Get to see, it's like the model. You make your pitch. You tell them, this is what I'm doing today. If I get 1 million naira to what I'm doing today, I'll be able to make so much money. They would determine if they would rather offer you as a loan or as an equity in the firm. There are organizations that are registered for that. Like I said again, go on Google. There are some in Ibadan. I can't be reeling out names now for no advert purposes and so, but just go online, Google it. There are people like that you can get those sources from. The bottom line is this. Nobody wants to invest in failure. Nobody wants to throw their money into the drain. The question you will ask yourself, I like the way you put it, if I were me, will I invest in me? With my business plan, if I'm to sit at the opposite side, would I invest? If your answer is no, what do you need to tweak it so that you can answer yes? Do those things first. Do your homework, then start talking to people. For me, be an evangelist. Talk to anybody and everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, let's put our hands together for our speakers, our panelists. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time. Unfortunately, our time is up. I'm not sure we'll be able to take questions at this point, but I really, really want to appreciate our panelists again. Coach Tini, thank you very much. Ms. Olubanjo, thank you so much. And Mr. Adefarasi, really appreciate your time. She should have run away like 30 minutes ago, but we had to tell her to please wait for this session because there's still more we wanted to draw from her, and I think it was well worth it that she waited behind. So as they go back to their seats, I want us to let's rise up on our feet and really appreciate them for being here today, for the time, and for sharing from their wealth of experience. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Mas, for the time that you spent with us. Thank you so much. So please, as we round off now, I still want to remind us, our sponsors, our partners, they're still around. Their stands are outside there. Please visit their stands, get to know what they're doing, patronize them. A lot of them are offering discounts today, so please take advantage of these great discounts. Tomorrow might be too late. So please take advantage of their discounts, patronize them, let's patronize ourselves. Let's share with them. Thank you very much. So at this point, as we round up, I want to appreciate every single one of us for making it a date with HRDM and with God. I thank you for the time. I thank you for your patience. And more importantly, I want to thank everybody for our attention throughout this program. I don't know if you are like me. I took a lot of notes. There are lots of things that I'm going home with. I'm sure my business will move to the next level after this. There are people I've spoken to here today that I'm sure will do stuff together. Some people will supply me stuff. And I will also be a supplier to some other people. So that's the way it works. And we hope to do more of this. So this is just one session. We'll be having HR Hangouts very soon again. For those of us who are part of the last HR Hangouts, you really enjoyed it. That's an online session where we bring experts to talk to us about, stuff about different areas that has to do with running our businesses. So HRDM would still be bringing other programs and would invite you to be part of it. We want to also say thank you to our online audience. Some people have been online since we started this, and they've stayed and they've been patient with us. So thank you for being part of this. We want to say thank you to the management, if it is called management, the leadership, the ministers of Global Harvest Church for giving us this opportunity, giving us this time, giving us this space. Saturday at this time, usually you should be taking care, getting ready for tomorrow. And I want to say a special thank you to our daddy and mommy, Pastor Femi and Pastor Tolu. They were here for most part of the program. They participated well, and they supported us through this program. I want to say thank you to every member of HRDM. HOM, thank you very much. Every member of the team, thank you for working on the scene, behind the scene, for contributing both physically, financially, every way to make this happen and make it a success. And I want to remind every one of us, those watching us online, visitors, that this is Global Harvest Church. We meet here every Sundays, 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. So we're inviting you specially to be part of our worship service tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. or at 10 a.m. We'll also be live on different online platforms, Facebook, on MixLR. We'll also be live on YouTube also. So please make it a date with God and make it a date with us tomorrow. I want to say thank you, everybody. And as we go home, let's go with God. Until I see you next time, keep the fire burning. Amen.